Hey everybody, how you doing on this fine Monday afternoon, evening? I guess it's getting late. It's 8 p.m. It's time for some Carnivore Talk Live, and we are so glad to be able to talk to you this evening and have you on screen as our special guest. Just like Jeff here, if you'd like to join us on screen, the link is pinned in the chat over on YouTube, and if you are tuning in on Facebook or X, I'm going to post it right now. Go ahead and click that link. You'll go backstage. If I haven't met you before, I'm probably going to ask you to do something with your hands or something, just so I can make you a real person. We'll let you on and we can talk. And what we're talking about tonight is the most exotic, weird, strange animal or creature, we could even say, that you have eaten, whether you've done that as part of your carnivore diet or any time in your life. We're just curious, what's the strangest thing you've eaten? Some of us have some good stories to tell in that regard.
Shout out to Rick on that one.
Yeah. So I kind of thought of him when when I came up with this theme for tonight, because he did say on Saturday that he'd probably join us. So if he does, he's got some interesting animal tales to tell of his own. But we're also interested in hearing from you. So feel free to join us on stage, or if you're more comfortable in the chat, we'll be watching those as well. We'll go to those in a minute. But first, we're going to say hi to Jeff from Texas. I'm Bob from Ohio, by the way. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's been a busy week and weekend. Spent the last 2 days cutting pastures and kind of wore out. I don't understand why I get wore out when the tractor does most of the work, but I guess it's me being out there in the sun all day is what does it. Sweating. That's so I'm having to keep up my electrolytes. We're getting up in the 90s now every day, and being out there making round after round on that tractor out there in the sun, you really sweat out a lot. You sweat out a lot of them electrolytes. And then as soon as I got done today, I hit the gym. In fact, I just got back from the gym a half hour ago, working out.
All right, very nice. Yeah, I'm sure it's the sun. All that working out in the hot sun.
Yeah.
Do you wait till are you out there during the heat of the day, or do you wait till after the heat of the day?
I'm all day.
All day.
Yeah, I get out there. I get out there fairly early in the morning. We get a good start, and I'll go. It's probably 2:30, 3 o'clock thereabouts. I think it was about 2 o'clock when I finished this today. So I mowed most of the day yesterday, cutting pastures, and then my son was cooking ribs. So we shut it down. Went over to his place about 4 o'clock. Went ate ribs, and then today it was back at it again. Finished up all the pasture cutting, and it was about 2 o'clock when we got done. So it was heat of the day. I come home and ate my one meal, which was a big old ribeye, and then went to the gym and hit it. So I'm through for the day. This is it for me.
All right, well, time to relax.
Yeah.
All right, very good. And Amy, how you doing, Amy?
Well, I'm doing good. When I heard the topic tonight, I had to join in. I might not stay very long, but I had to at least join in.
Well, that's quite all right. If you've got something interesting to share, let us know if it was a mammal, a reptile, a bird, an amphibian, or an insect, or what have you consumed that's kind of odd for our area?
It's only slightly odd because I grew up in Louisiana and moved to Maine 35 years ago. So they're not that weird. They are food that plenty of people eat. But alligator in Louisiana, I mean, everybody in Louisiana eats alligator. It's it's on the menu.
Eat it every chance I get.
And crawfish, of course, was my favorite. But in Maine, I've eaten bear and moose. And I can't think of anything really weird, that I don't think that maybe that's about it. That's about it.
Well, you know them South Louisiana folks, if it moves, they'll eat it.
Oh, yeah.
They'll work up a recipe for it. I know a lot of Cajuns, and I know a lot of people in South Louisiana. I love them to death, and their food is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And, oh yeah, I love gator, crawfish. We look forward to crawfish season every year, and generally, me and my son-in-law, our birthdays are close enough. We'll just have one birthday party, and we'll just have crawfish bowl every year for that.
Well, growing up in Louisiana, seafood was supposed to be spicy,
No.
and well seasoned. And then we moved to Maine, and it's like lobster just tastes plain. It's just everything is so plain in Maine. So
Yep.
it was a huge difference. I mean, a lobster looked like a big crawfish, but it didn't taste like one. That was for sure.
Yeah, what you can do there is you take your butter for your lobster, and you put your little Tonys in there, and stir it up, and mix it up, so you get a little flavor to it.
That's a good idea. We tried when my son got married. He wanted to have a crawfish boil, but we couldn't find enough crawfish, so we boiled, because we were on Maine. We boiled lobster, and we tried to put the seasoning in to make it taste like crawfish. But the shell on the lobster is so thick that the seasoning wouldn't really come through. So it didn't really work.
That's too bad. Yeah, I would put it. I would put it in the butter. Get you some Slappy Mama or
that's a good idea.
Some Tonys. And mix it in there, and that would help it out some.
Well, actually, I had some Tonys in my cabinet a few weeks ago, and I got I used it. I don't use it very often, and I used it on some ground beef, and I was really sick the next day. So I've given up seasonings. I can't do it anymore. Yeah.
Well, hello, Peter. You look like you're calling from a different location than usual.
I'm at work.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah. So
All right,
I may be in and out, but I'll come back. If I get a customer, I'll come back later.
All right. Very good. Well, do you have a moment to share with us the strangest food you've ever eaten?
Strangest food? Well, I ate
strangest animal. We're actually looking for animal.
That's easy. I had alligator, but it was delicious. It tasted like alligator tasted like kind of like chicken nuggets, deep fried alligator bites.
Yeah, I've had those too. It was at a restaurant called Dick's when I was on vacation.
I was in Louisiana, like right where you're talking about, Easy. I was in South Louisiana, and I was just driving through, and I went to this Cajun place. I had everything fried catfish. I had hush puppies. This is back in the day. Everything fried, and then fried alligator nuggets. Kind of tasted like a cross between chicken and fish, right, Rick? Alligator?
That's what iguana tastes like.
Yeah, I mean, it's like basically a bigger version of an iguana, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's a
But
lizard.
it was delicious.
With more mercury.
Yeah, that's the problem. But I only ate it once.
Yeah, one thing I haven't done yet is I still want to go hunt an alligator. I still want to get one myself.
Wow.
All right, very good. So Rick was next in the gate. How are you doing today, Rick?
Pretty good. Just got out of the shower a couple of minutes ago.
All right, nice and squeaky clean.
More or
And
less.
I had you were in my mind when I thought of this topic for tonight, because I remember Saturday you said you'd probably be joining us, and if I had a nice picture of you, I probably would have put you on the thumbnail, because this is your theme. This is your theme tonight. Although Jeff says he's ready to throw down with you over who's eating the most exotic animals. So, well, why don't you go ahead and share some? We know iguana. You're known for iguana and for duck, and I would consider that rare. Not everybody eats duck, but anything else?
Everybody
Well,
eats
I
iguana
love
either.
Anything else you want to confess?
Well, I've had various sea creatures, fish, crayfish, sea urchins, whatever I can get out of the ocean. I've had wild chickens. I've had the little pigeons, the squab, baby pigeon. I've had garden snails, escargot, very delicious. I've
Yes, they
had
are.
June bug grubs. They're like shrimp. You can deep
Yeah.
fry them or you can boil them. I've had, what else have I had? Squirrels. Every time the
Oh,
squirrels
yeah, I've
attack
had
my
squirrels.
mangoes and avocados, I have squirrels. Um, what else? Generally, if it's moving and it's eating my garden, it's fair game. And of course, Muscovy duck, that is my absolute favorite. But see, I don't just hunt them. I catch them and I fatten them up. And then I put them through the duck guillotine and then I cook them. So I want them to be as fat and stress-free as possible when the head comes off. Then
Just
the meat
before
is,
just before they have a heart attack.
Right.
well, sometimes they get a heart attack. I lost one to heart attack that rotted away, but the other one, when I tried to grab him, he had a heart attack on the spot. And I was able to get him processed, and it was very flavorful. The more unhealthy they get, the better they taste. They get fattier and more tender. They're absolutely delicious. When they come right from the canal, they don't taste very good. They taste like dirt. It's like eating leather mixed with dirt, mixed with the really cheap meat. It's really bad. And I know people that have caught Muscovy duck and they tried to roast it and it was inedible. It was as tough as an old boot. It probably tasted the same. It was awful. It smelled terrible. You ever had like a piece of meat and it just smells like dirt warmed over? Well, that's what he was cooking. And I'm like, what is that horrible smell? Oh, I'm cooking duck. Duck? That smells awful. Where'd you get it from? I got it from the canal. That can't be right. That was a Muscovy, but it was not cooked right. And squirrels are very good deep fried, very tasty. What else? I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess that's about as exotic as I've gotten. I haven't eaten possum. I haven't eaten kangaroo or anything like that. I've had goose. Sometimes we get the geese that come from up north and they just don't want to go back home and they start attacking people. Well, I've had them. But I guess that's about it. I mean, it's nothing too exotic.
All right. Very good. I was trying to think the things that I've had. So I've had pheasant, rabbit, deer, frog legs, squirrel. As far as the mammal, all those when I was a kid, because my dad was a hunter and brought that stuff home. I've had crayfish, oysters. I don't, some people think that's odd. Other people eat those just as much as I do. I love oysters, a variety of fish, and yeah, pheasant when it comes to birds. But outside of that, I haven't had too much. I haven't tried I did have the crocodile, so I did have crocodile. I feel like I'm missing another lizard too, but I can't remember what it is.
I've also had guinea hen.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking
I
of,
just processed a couple of guineas here a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Good
They used to
eating.
run wild around here.
every time I hear guinea, I think of guinea pigs, which are actually raised for food in certain areas. In
South
fact,
America, down in Peru, I believe.
Earlier, Alia Wells from the Kilts group, she said that she's tried guinea pig and it was absolute yuck. Oh, this is my lovely wife, Crystal, bringing me something
Hey,
to
Jeff. Jeff, have you ever had nutria?
No, I haven't. I know several Cajuns that have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty popular down there. I've only come across nutria one time in Texas, and that's back when I lived in Springtown. I was fishing on a creek for catfish back behind the house, and I come across some nutria. I didn't even think about killing them, it just didn't even dawn on me at the time. They're basically
Rat.
kind of a river rat, is what they're considered. I've had my share of exotics, though. I'm with Rick. I've had just about everything Rick mentioned. I will admit that who was it? Was it Bill? I think it was Bill Cook. Got me beat on one. Balut. He's had balut. I have not had balut, and it's not something I think I want to try.
What's balut?
Balut is a fermented egg.
Oh, yeah.
Still got the embryo.
No,
Mhm.
not
If
for
I'm
me.
not mistaken. Am I right there, Rick?
You're
That's
right.
gross.
Yeah,
That's gross.
I have no desire to try that. I've seen one eaten before on what was it, Fear Factor? No, they can keep that. And another thing I don't want to eat, I have no desire to try because I eat a lot of organ meats. You know, all the animals I process and the animals I hunt, I keep the liver, I keep the heart, I keep the kidneys. I don't let much go to waste. Everything else goes to my dogs, and that's bones, everything. So, and in my leather shop here, I got deer hides hanging up. You know, I try not to waste anything. And, but one thing that I do have no desire to eat, and that's brains. I remember I was hunting out in East Texas one time. This East Texas has some big squirrels, those big old fox squirrels, and they have a season on squirrels out there. And we were out deer hunting, and the guy that's kind of designated camp cook, he says he was cutting up some squirrel that they'd killed earlier in the year, and they were in the freezer. He was cutting them up, and he's going to make some squirrel. What he was going to do was bread them and fry them, and then make a big old pot of gravy from the renderings, and then he's going to boil up some rice. So you get you some rice. East Texas eats a lot of rice. So you get you a couple ladlefuls of rice, and you get some of that squirrel, and it's been simmering in that gravy all day long, so it's tender, you know. And you ladle up those quarter pieces of squirrel on there over that rice, and it's delicious, you know. Yeah, it's carb thing, but it's still it's good poor people food. It's good stuff. And so I'm ladling it up, and I pull up one ladle, a squirrel, and it's the head, skinned out, teeth, the whole 9 yards. And I'm like, okay, is this a joke for the new guy or what? And he goes, no. He says, you don't want that? I said, no, sir, I don't eat heads. And he says, oh, well, I don't eat the heads. He says, I crack the skulls open with a spoon. I dish out the brains. He's cooking them down for the brains. And I'm like, nah, I'll pass on that. So that's always stuck in my head. I have no desire to eat brains. But
I had calf's brains, I guess, in a restaurant, and they were okay.
yeah, I just don't. It doesn't appeal to me at all. Doesn't appeal to me at all. Now I've worked in Asian countries. I've done a lot of work overseas, and I've eaten a lot of exotic things that we don't normally eat here. One that stands out particularly is when I was working in South Korea, silkworm larvae. We were going to, they don't waste anything in Korea. That's the most amazing place you've ever seen. These people don't waste nothing. They build their cemeteries up on hills.
Don't let your dogs loose.
I'm sorry, say again, Rick?
Don't let your dogs loose.
Yeah, that's true too. I can't remember ever seeing any dogs, to be honest. But they build their cemeteries up on hills because they don't farm the hills. But all the bar ditches, along the roads, their yards, if you don't plant something in your yard, your neighbor can come over and plant something in your yard, and you can't touch it until they harvest it. They don't waste nothing. They don't waste land or anything. But anyways, amazing place. And we were going to the Jinju Castle to take a tour of it, and outside were these vendors. And I saw this one guy, and it looked like he was tossing these peanuts in a wok. This one vendor, and he was, roasting them. And I went, man, those are the biggest peanuts I've ever seen. And I walk over there and I look, and I asked my guide, my host, I said, so what are those? What is that? He goes, oh, that's silkworm larvae. And I said, like in the bug? He goes, yeah. He says, when the silkworm is done producing silk and he turns into a larvae, we go ahead and eat them. We roast them and eat them. Once again, they don't waste anything. And I knew before the day was out, I was going to end up trying those. And sure enough, so after our tour of the Jinju Castle, our host takes us out to an eel restaurant, and we had barbecue eel.
The City Furniture?
and it was
Yeah.
amazing. It was fantastic. The eel, we had it 2 different ways,
Yeah.
grilled and barbecued, and it was
They were one big
fantastic.
store.
You'd eat it on a lettuce leaf, kind of like a taco, you know, or fajita, only with a lettuce leaf. And you have all these seasonings that you can put on it, you know, different Korean seasonings. Anyways, it's fantastic. So what's he ordering? What do they bring out for an appetizer? Silkworm larvae. So yeah, I knew it was it. I had 2 other Americans with me, and neither one of them would try it. I'm the only one that's willing to try it, you know. So I went in and popped one in my mouth, and I'll be honest, it was terrible. But I ate it. You know, it was terrible. But yeah, I've eaten gator. I've eaten bear. I'll tell you a quick story. My son, when he was like about 8 years old, he was out with his BB gun around the front of the house, and on the highline wire, a field lark landed up there, and he asked me permission. He said, "Daddy, can I shoot that?" And I says, "Well, I don't know how he's going to taste, but yeah, if you want to shoot him, go ahead." He goes, "Oh, do we eat those birds, Daddy?" And I says, "I don't. But if you kill that animal, you're going to eat it. There's only 2 things we kill, varmints and food. And that's not a varmint because it's not bothering me. Therefore, it's food." He's always remembered that. We don't wantonly kill. But somebody mentioned buffalo. I've got 2 buffalo I'm raising right now. They're not big enough to butcher yet, you know. So we got buffalo, and in my lifetime, I've gone on a lot of survival training courses between civilian life and my military life. I did a lot of survival training courses, and one of them was put on by a university down in South Texas, and it was living as the Indians lived. We learned to live exactly like the Native Americans lived. So we had to make our own tools, our own fish hooks, our own fishing line, our own ropes, ladders, axes, knives, you name it. We had to make our own. We had to go out and gather and hunt. We learned gathering and hunting. And you go hungry for about the first 3 days, and then you start catching on. And we ate everything. It didn't matter what it was edible. We boiled down acorns. You have to boil down acorns to get the tannins out before they're edible. You have to boil them about 3 times, washing out the water. We found a wild honeybee hive, and we harvested that. And yes, we got stung a bunch. We had to make a ladder just to get up to it. We had to make the axe to chop a hole in the tree to smoke the bees, you know, start a fire. You know, we had to build fire by hand with no tools. We did fish drives in a stock tank and caught fish out of there. We ate rattlesnake, armadillo. I mean, you name it. If we could catch it, we ate it. It's just that simple. So I've eaten my share of exotic things in my lifetime, and you know, to me, gator and crawfish, these are everyday staples. You know, for us. I mean, that ain't exotic. You know, that's normal eating for us Southerners. You know, anybody that's around Louisiana, you know, Texas and whatnot, we just love that stuff. So we've definitely eaten our share, and I continue eating, you know, whatever I catch or kill. I've eaten grubs. Grubs is when you're on survival, grubs are a staple. Grasshoppers, you pull the legs off the grasshoppers. You don't even have to cook them. You just swallow them whole. Don't chew them. I mean, you can roast them if you want, make it more palatable, but you can swallow them whole. You just pull them back legs off. Otherwise, they will crawl back up. You know, just little tidbits of information for those that ever want to try it. It's not easy. But it'll keep you alive. It'll sustain you. You know, it kept John the Baptist alive eating locusts and honey. So, and by golly, it kept me alive at times too. So, yeah, I've eaten my share, and
they're better deep fried.
You talk about escargot.
Mm-hmm.
Escargot is good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Love me some escargot. Oysters, absolutely wonderful.
I haven't had
escargot. I'm not scared
time.
to try too much. And I suppose if I was pressed, I would try brains. I just have no desire to try brains. You know, I'd just soon
Escargot
draw
is
the
awesome.
line there.
I'll
I
say
love
something about brains.
Wake up, Kelly.
Yeah, I'll get to Kelly in a second. Amy, finish your thought.
I wanted to say something about brains. My husband had the chance to eat. I didn't want any, but a hunter gave us some deer brain. So he scrambled it up with some egg and ate it. And he said for the whole next 24 hours, he felt like a weird kind of wisdom, like he could see far away. And he just, it felt really like how deer might feel. And I did forget that I've eaten dove and squirrel because my first husband was a hunter in Louisiana, so out in the woods and stuff. So yeah, and of course deer, venison.
And that was one of my favorite hunts, absolute favorite hunts. And I'll tell you what, you strip them breasts off, wrap them in bacon, throw them on over an open fire. Good eating, real good eating.
Well, I was
I've
kind of
heard-
I was in shock that we were eating dove.
You
I
know,
was
isn't
a
it-
city girl. I'm just like,
isn't it-
Plenty of pigeons in the city.
And
Yeah.
pigeon, I've had pigeon. Pigeon is good stuff. Now here's something I thought about a long time ago. We hunt, kill, and eat the bird of peace. Yet we protect the bird of war. Hawks, falcons, eagles. Isn't that odd?
Mm-hmm.
But dove are a vicious, voracious eater. They can wipe out a grain field, which, you know, us carnivores don't care much about that, but the rest of the world does. They can wipe out a grain field and nothing flat. That's why we hunt them. We don't hunt them because they're a sporting animal to hunt. We hunt them because the agricultural industry wants us to kill them because they will destroy agriculture.
Mm-hmm. Doves and pigeons are almost the same.
Oh yeah, I think they're the same genesis. They fly the same. It's just a size difference thing. And you know, around here in our neck of the woods, those that have carrier racing pigeon and stuff like that, they don't fly them during dove season because the hunters will knock them down. Not on purpose. It's just that they see a bird flying like a dove and they shoot at it.
Squab is so delicious, though.
I've had. Now, isn't squab a young pigeon?
Yep, young pigeon. When they're nesting on the buildings and people want to get rid of them, that's the time to get the squab.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll
See,
tell you.
I told you that Jeff and Rick were going to throw down.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you what. I've always said, and I've told him this, that if I ever get to his neck of the woods, I want some to go on it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I've done reading online before I ever became a carnivore. I did a lot of reading online where they are putting on iguana hunts. Yeah, and they float the canals, and they go along with pellet rifles or crossbows or whatever. And you got guides, and you're out there shooting iguana. I'll eat a iguana in a heartbeat. I eat rattlesnake and turtle and frog legs. I harvest my own frog legs. I don't buy them in the store.
yeah, I've eaten frog.
I've had
legs,
frog
too.
legs.
Yeah, frog legs are great. They are fantastic. I mean, I've killed some frogs on some of the leases I've been on that had legs as big as chicken legs. I mean, they were huge
Yeah.
frogs.
Yeah.
We don't have frogs here anymore.
You do have that There's an invasive toad down there that can actually
The
poison
cane
a dog.
toad.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got some of them, but we have no frogs. The development wiped them all out.
Now, something my wife found today. We was mowing pastures. My wife was taking a push mower and she was mowing underneath some mesquite trees that I couldn't get the tractor under. And next thing I know, she's walking towards me and she's cradling something in her arms. I'm like, what in the world? And I'm thinking, you know, it's
Deer?
too small for our dog. It's not like our dog got hurt because our dog was out
Baby
there
deer?
with us. It was a fawn, still spotted.
Yep.
And I said, what are you doing with that? Put it back. And
They
she
don't
says,
move.
it bolted. because she was mowing right where it was at and didn't see it. And it jumped up and it ran. And when it did, my border collie chased after it, not to attack it, but to, their instinct is to herd. And it was moving, it was running. So her instinct was to cut it off and hurt it. And it went over to some tall grass by some junk and laid back down. And my wife said, "What are we going to do with it?" I said, "We're going to leave it here. So you don't touch it." I said, "Just leave it alone." She said, "Well, I've already touched it. Is that going to hurt anything?" "No, that's an old wives' tale." I said, "But what we're going to do is when we're through here, you're going to put it right back where you got it. Right now, go put it in the barn. When we're through, we'll leave it back underneath that mesquite tree, and Mama will come along and find it." She does just like they do just like our goats. Our goats do the same thing. They'll drop a kid, and yeah, once that kid nurses the first time, after a few days, the mom will get farther and farther away from. They'll leave the kids alone. They'll go out and eat, get their nourishment, come back and feed the babies, And I said the deer do the exact same thing. It's one of the things that aggravates me so bad is when I see people posting online, "Oh, I found this deer. Mama abandoned it." Mama didn't abandon it, people. Learn something about nature. The mamas will leave the baby in a safe place, go off, feed, and then come back and get the baby. So leave the babies alone. Don't be chasing them. Don't be picking them up. The only reason my wife did is because it ran and she was worried about it, getting hurt or getting away from where Mama would come back to.
What kind of
We had a
mower do you
deer-
use?
What kind of mower do I use?
Yeah, what was she using for a mower?
Oh, for a lawnmower, she was just using I don't know, whatever she gets, just a 21-inch cut push mower.
Oh, it's just a mower. Yeah.
Yeah, just a lawnmower. Now me, I'm out there on the tractor. I got a 50-horse John Deere, with a 6-foot brush hog, and I'm out there, cutting the pastures and all.
You don't ever use like a skid steer mower for the hard to get places?
I've got a zero turn for that.
Oh.
Actually, I got
baby
a zero
deer.
turn and a riding lawnmower for that.
We had a baby deer here in our backyard a couple of years ago. I mean, we have them all the time, but there was one time where when one was by itself, barely able to walk. It just seemed that small and fragile, but it worked and it was crying, but it worked its way down to the front and it was heading towards the street. And so because it was heading towards the street, I picked it up. And we were running an in-home childcare at the time, so all the kids got to pet the deer. They thought it was really cool, and I'd take it back to the backyard and set it down. And then it wanted to walk up towards the street again, and I have almost a 3/4 acre here, so we'd pick it up, take it back to where the wood. I'd like, "You belong back here in the woods. That's where you were left. You got to stay there." And I'm sure Mom eventually came around. I also heard that deers are social, that even if the baby wanders off, if another adult deer encounters it, it will keep watch over it until its actual mom returns. So if another deer finds the baby deer unattended or wandering around, they'll actually stick together and help protect it. So
yeah, that's odd that it was wandering, because normally their instinct, and I see it in my goats, their instinct is to lay low, stay still, don't move. The only reason this one jumped up and bolted is my wife just about ran over it with the lawnmower. It had no other choice.
We had another one just a couple days ago. It was frolicking around in our backyard, and but Mama deer, you could see 2 yards over laying down. So she had her eyes on it, but the deer was still kind of playing around in my backyard. And then in the middle of the night, I think it was still back there. My dog has a glow-in-the-dark collar. And so we'll turn on the collar and let her out back at night to use the bathroom. And you'll just see her collar bouncing around. Well, you all of a sudden you hear her barking, and she runs off to the back corner of the yard barking. And you can't see her. You can just see the glow-in-the-dark collar. And then you hear some rustling around in a bush. She went into some brush. Then she comes bolting out. Faster, running back to the house faster than I've seen her chase squirrels. She came running back to the house inside the sliding door, ran down the hallway, and jumped up on the bed in my wife's spot and shook. And I think what happened is she probably saw the baby deer back there and went to chase it, and then mama deer probably wasn't having any of it. And because that's I've had 2 dogs that had been scared to death by deer. The deer normally run unless they're hanging around with one that's injured, or they're hanging around a baby, and then they'll completely front you and your dog up. So it was something else the other night. She shook for like a half an hour. Something gave her the spooks, and I think it was a mama deer. So Kelly, thank you for your patience. How you been?
I'm good. I'm not frozen.
You're not. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, you're not. You look beat red in the picture here.
Yeah. Yeah. I got the Mexican tan going.
Uh-huh. All right.
It
looks like you got that carnivores don't get sunburn.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't it's a little red. My skin gets red like some Native American, because I have a little bit of Native in me, and of course it'll be like this all summer, and then it'll fade away kind of in the wintertime.
All right. So are you back? You're back from Mexico then, right? Because
Yes,
that looks like
I
a
am
typical
back.
room. Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
It was fantastic. Honestly, I didn't, with what was going on, we had a visit at work. I really didn't want to go. I wanted to be here, but I actually was grateful. I got to work. I was very unhappy with the lawn care guys, because I was worried about, oh, great, our CEO, our owner, he's not going to like this. But we had a very good report. He liked it. Everything was good, and everything that wasn't in our control, he never got mad at it. He was very happy about the condition of the property, because he saw what we've done and then what the lawn care guys didn't do like they should have. So it was great. So it was worth the visit. I was trying to get on last Monday. This is the first time in 5 builds in the summertime, that it was not hot in Juarez at all. It usually 95 to 100, dry. We got rained on right after the concrete was poured, and we had hail at the same time. We had pea-sized hail. That was the first time ever. And then it was nice. It stayed 80 to 85, all 3 days. We didn't start experiencing the hot 90-degree weather probably till Thursday or Friday, as we were coming home.
All right. Very nice. Okay, so now when it comes to exotic animals or weird animals, what would you like to confess? Have you eaten anything strange that's not typical for most people in our area? Did you eat anything strange in Mexico?
Well, I'm going to tell you, they tried to get me to eat some kind of soup there, and I woke up from the nap Monday before we lost power at the shack, or at the compound we stayed. They say, you got to try this soup, and I'm like, I saw something in there that I know that I'm not going to eat. And I'm like, what is in that soup? And they're like, well, there's hominy. I'm like, forget it. Nope, not going to eat it. I will not eat hominy.
It had hominy in it. It was menudo.
Yeah.
You know what menudo is?
Isn't that stomach?
It's made with tripe. What you saw in it was tripe.
Is that cow stomach?
It's
then they said they had hog intestine. I'm like, nope, I'm not eating that.
That's tripe. And it's good stuff. It really is. If the tripe has been cleaned properly, if it ain't been cleaned right, it's nasty. But if it's been cleaned properly, it's good stuff.
There's a Korean place nearby that the guy that used to work for me went to, and he had menudo, and he said that was cow intestine or cow stomach, and wanted to take me there and try it. And I said I'd try it. He said how good it was. I said I'll try anything once. So, all right, very nice. Well, let's take a moment to go to some comments here. We've had a bunch of them, but I've just been starring some key ones as we go that are related to our theme. So we're going to talk about some odd animals. First, we're going to say Linda Flanagan was first in the gate, says hello, everyone. And Uncle Charlie was last week on a 5-day cruise and ate 15 New York strip steaks. Sounds like you had one for breakfast, one for lunch, and one for dinner. Very nice.
Sounds like a good cruise.
Yeah. He also says Anthony Chafee doesn't use salt or electrolytes element. A lot of people get it for free if they promote it. Every sip has sugar, bad sugar, insulin goes up. Every sip, then down, then up. Yo-yo. Yo-yo, like a yo-yo. All right. So LMNT, everyone I've had has had no sugar in it. So there's an unflavored one that has no artificial sweetener, and the other ones have artificial sweeteners in it. Do those make insulin go up? For some people, yes. For me, no. So it kind of depends on your personal physiology. Some people have a reaction as soon as their tongue tastes something sweet. Their body, even though it's artificial, their body will release insulin in anticipation of something sweet coming down the gullet. So that can vary for some people. So I think Element is a good product. I can't take it, of course, because I can't take electrolytes because of my kidneys. So I don't need them either way. He also says, I have 2 cups of coffee per day with a little coffee creamer, Snickers coffee creamer, still losing inches and belt buckle got smaller. So that caught my eye. That was kind of interesting. And I'll tell you why. It looks like Kurt's trying to join us here. Let's see if his image pops up. It is. We'll pause and say hi to Kurt real quick because he's probably on break. So how you doing, Kurt?
Hey.
Hey. How's work going tonight?
Slow.
You
Going
have a
slow.
pretty bad signal. So
Oh, do I?
yeah, you're kind of choppy.
Let me
and
switch it over to 5G.
Okay. Let's see if this improves it a bit. While he's working on that, I want to get this screen ready.
That better?
We'll let you know in a moment here.
No, everybody froze.
All right. And hold on. Now let me, where'd that go? Remove that. All right. Where'd you go? Oh, he's gone. Oh, wait a minute. There he is. He's back. Okay.
That better?
I think it's a little better. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not in my department tonight. I'm working up front.
Working up front. Okay. Yeah. Our theme tonight is weird things you may have eaten. Have you eaten any weird animals that you'd like to share?
I mean, I've eaten ostrich, I've eaten eel, I've eaten bug larva. Shit. Oh, I've eaten cow uterus. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's different.
Tastes like chicken. Oh,
Everything tastes like chicken except for beef.
Yeah. yeah. It's all the same. It just goes in. It tastes good. Fuels the body.
Mm-hmm. All right. Very good. How's your daily egg fast coming along?
Oh, no, I posted on the board and take care. My wife decided she was going to make some curry puffs yesterday, and I indulged in a couple.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I didn't hit the 230 mark, 230s today, like I was expecting because I had a couple curry puffs.
All right, that's okay. All right.
I feel
Sit back
great
on.
though.
What's in a curry puff?
Well, spices, and she put potatoes and I think some frozen peas and carrots. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then she put minced beef.
Okay.
So, of course, you have the pastry that it's wrapped in. So,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I had a couple because it reminds me of home.
Yeah. 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 No, that's okay. So on the Friday night, we went out for karaoke, and my wife got a small pepperoni pizza and couldn't finish it. So I did have a slice of that. So, yep. So I also entered the confession booth. That's like, you know, probably the first pizza I've had in I don't even remember how long. So, and I usually get wings. So usually I go and I get wings. I got 6 wings. Didn't fill me up, and so I finished off the pizza. So, but it was a little tiny thing. So anyway, it's all good.
Rick, you got a question? Are your pants
Oh,
on
he's
fire?
flapping his wings.
Hey, just showing off a sign here.
I wouldn't do that, but
My son used to have a bumper sticker on his pickup that said "Cats, the other white meat."
Well, when it comes to exotic animals, you know, I have a list here that I printed ahead, that I not printed, but had the browser print ahead of time to reference. Cat and dog are actually consumed in certain areas of the world.
Korea.
So is horse, donkey.
And horse is
Korea,
actually more
Cambodia,
common than you would think. It's
Vietnam.
taboo here in the U.S., but horse
had
is
horse meat.
popular in Italy and France, and then in a lot of like Japan and a lot of Asian
Dang.
countries. So
I've eaten horse meat.
I have not. So I would, but I have not. So
I saw
I had alligator. That was pretty good.
a meme a long time ago. It had all these animals from, you know, oh, I don't know, horses, deer, moose, whatever, all the way down to, you know, cats and mice and whatnot. And it was a vegan poster. It was actually a poster of a billboard, and it was put out by PETA, I believe, People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, and it said, "Where do you draw the line?" And I'm like, the meme I saw, it said, "You're assuming there's a line?"
Eat the rich.
It's all meat, you know. Yeah, granted, we don't
all the
want to
same.
eat fluffy, but I guarantee you, we go back to the Stone Ages because somebody dropped an EMP over our butts. Fluffy's on the menu when you get desperate enough, when you get hungry enough.
I seen the same billboard, and it had like a bunch of livestock, and then to the right was like a cat and a dog, and it said, "Where do you draw the line?"
Yeah.
Someone drew a line in between the livestock and the pets and said, "Right here."
Yeah. I don't have a line.
When you said PETA, I will be thinking people eating tasty animals.
Yeah.
I'll go along with that.
They're all edible.
That's right. They are.
If it's
And
got
at
a
some
tail,
point, and at some point, somebody has
Just
had
depends on how you
them
cook it.
just to prove it.
and if you're really desperate, you eat the rich.
that's a crocus song.
I've eaten a fly accidentally.
Yeah.
They're
I've
crunchy.
done. I've eaten
Freak me
lots of bugs when I didn't wear a helmet riding motorcycle.
Oh, I bet.
I've had deep fried grasshoppers.
Those are good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like tarantulas.
Never ate one of them.
I've never tried tarantula or scorpion.
I've had scorpion.
Mm-hmm.
Now I do have a novelty sucker in the house that's got a scorpion in it. Nobody's willing to try it yet.
I wouldn't because it's got sugar in it.
Good man.
Yep, dissolve that candy and I'll eat the scorpion. Not a problem. But tarantula, because of the hairs are really stiff and they get caught between your teeth, and it's just a really uncomfortable feeling.
That sounds awful.
Can't cinch those off with a little fire first.
It don't help. These are deep fried.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
On
But
my notes, I saw that in some places starfish is eaten, and I thought I've caught a starfish when I was swimming in the ocean before, and I would never have imagined that you could actually cook that and eat that. So
Down
I've had
here,
some right.
they used
So
to
you
eat
can
col-
barely eat Patrick then.
yeah,
They used to eat
Stop.
conch down here.
Yeah, I've had stingray too.
Mm-hmm.
Stingray.
Yeah, I don't think I've tried conch. I don't know. A friend of my dad's lived down in around Cape Canaveral because I remember we were down there watching a launch, Gemini launch, when I was a kid, and my dad's best friend, he was a flat track racer, very well known flat track racer, and he did a lot of scuba diving. He would catch these conch, and he'd eat them. And he gave me a conch shell, and I don't know whatever happened to it, but we had that thing for years. It did a lot of traveling with us, and I don't think I had any conch, but I sure would like to try it. I understand it's really good.
It's like escargot.
Well, I do love escargot.
Mm-hmm.
Conch just to be on a bigger scale.
Yep.
There you go.
Except usually don't deep fry escargot, but they do deep fry conch.
No, escargot broiled in butter. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Here's one for
Trick is
Kelly.
you gotta feed them for a week before you can cook them up.
I've only had them in the restaurants. I've never harvested them myself.
I used to have a lot of snails in the garden until I got all the ducks, and then after that, I have no snails.
So Kelly, are you eating intestines yet?
No.
He turned
Sausage.
it down. He had an
Sausage.
opportunity in Mexico.
I had the opportunity to have that in Mexico with a soup. Nothing gonna eat it. No.
I use intestines to make sausage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Well,
very common.
Yeah, that's what good sausage is made with intestine.
There's a lot
And
of you
I'm
that
sure
like to eat
that I
sausage
ate
are,
tested
might not know it,
before,
but you could
like
be
with
eating
the
intestines.
sausage.
That's right.
Yeah, in fact, when we make like venison sausage or any kind of sausage, when we make it at home, we go out and buy the casing, and we have a choice. We can buy the synthetic casing, or we can buy the animal casings. And of course, always choose the animal casings. And if you ever eaten a hot dog or a sausage, you get that pop when you bite into it. That's animal casing.
Hmm. Hey, just pull out the intestines and clean them with a hose.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to make sure it's cleaned real well, or it's not going to taste good.
Right. Cut it in sections and wash it out with a garden hose. That's how we used to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, Bill Cook just listed octopus. I've had octopus, didn't care for it. But
Oh, it's good.
I've had calamari and I love it. Absolutely love squid, but I'm not a
Squid's
big fan
kind of
of
rubbery.
octopus. Yeah, octopus is just very rubbery. But
Try it on the barbecue. It's excellent.
well, a lot of times with a lot of seafood, and you're probably right on that, will turn rubbery if it's overcooked.
Mm-hmm.
Most people overcook it. I mean, you can do the same thing with shrimp, lobster. You can overcook it and it
Deep
becomes
fried.
rubbery. And that's probably what I had was the octopus was overcooked.
It's best deep fried.
So, Kelly, how's the lion diet going? We had a question here from Charlie.
It's actually going good. It's day 3, and I've only been eating one time a day, right in the middle of the day. So, like today, I had 6. I took a pack of burger patties or a box of burger patties with me to work because I got an air fryer there, and I just had 6 burger patties. And yesterday, I did 6 because I got 6 patio steaks, or they call it charco steak, or the patio steaks, the little steaks. And I got them at a discount price at the grocery store Saturday. So I had that. So I'm doing pretty good.
Hey, Kelly,
All right.
you need to recheck your email because I think you missed something.
I will.
All right.
Nice to meet you, Amy, by the way. I'm Kurt.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm gonna probably leave in about 5 minutes at about 9. I'm starting to
Yeah,
get
I'm
sleepy. It's about my bedtime.
I got to pop off too, so head back to
All
work.
right.
Anyways, nice seeing y'all.
Nice seeing you
Good
too,
seeing
Kurt.
Yep.
Enjoy the rest of
Stay
your work day.
active again.
Good to see you, buddy.
And Amy, if you decide to disappear to go
Yeah,
to sleep,
how do you get out of here?
are you on a laptop or a phone?
I'm on an iPad.
iPad. So it should still be in a browser
So-
window. Down at the bottom of the screen, there should be
There's
like
a little arrow
pe-
thing, a little
peach
pink.
button.
I got it.
Yeah, it shows
All
an
right.
arrow to the right. That's like exit.
All right. Well, good night, you guys. This was a lot of fun.
Right.
Good night,
Good
Amy.
night.
Enjoyed
Good
having
night.
you.
Good night,
Finding-
Amy.
Sweet dreams. All right, I do want to get back to some of this here. This here. I had 2 cups of coffee per day with a little coffee creamer, Snickers coffee creamer. Still losing interest, and the belts got smaller. I'm just curious why you're having Snickers coffee creamer after dogging on LMNT for having sugar. Because if you look at the ingredients here for Snickers coffee creamer, it's water, sugar, and soybean oil, and then a hodgepodge of a few other things that are insignificant. But unless I'm misreading this, you dogged on LMNT for having artificial sweetener, but you're drinking Snickers coffee creamer, and you could drink all the Snickers coffee creamer you want. That's just fine. I just find it paradoxical. So, and maybe you could explain that to me. But anyway, I'm just curious.
Ingredients derived from a bioengineered source.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Did it say that on there too?
At the very bottom.
It does. Yeah. Ingredients derived
Very
from a
bottom.
bioengineered source.
No, it ain't natural, boys.
Yeah. All
It
right.
ain't natural. I won't touch it. I will drink coffee black the rest of my life before I ever put that stuff in there.
Here's another one I wanted to address. I don't
Well,
eat
you're
chicken,
cutting
not
down on
fat
coffee
enough.
anyways, ain't you?
I only drink 2 cups a day. That's all I do.
I was thinking you said on one of your posts that you were going to cut down to 1 cup.
I actually was gonna work on going from 2 cups to 1 cup eventually a day.
All right. I don't, and I quit coffee years ago, so I recommend quitting to anybody.
Yeah,
but of course, if you like to enjoy your coffee, go right ahead.
Yeah, I haven't drank coffee in about 2.5 years.
Mhm.
I quit it.
Yep. Charlie says he doesn't eat chicken, not fat enough. I agree with that.
Yes.
For me, plus they wash it in bleach and pump water in it to make it weigh more. The latter part, I think is true. They actually don't wash it in bleach. That's actually, one of these sensational internet rumors. They do wash it in a chlorine solution.
Yes.
And but it's
and,
not.
and your
it's not
tap water
bleach.
has chlorine in it. It's
Yeah.
just a clean water is all it is.
Yeah.
And the water they're
you-
injecting is a saline to make it. That's what makes it moist. That's what they do to your Thanksgiving turkey. Your butterball injected. That's what they do. I do the same thing when I'm going to cook a turkey. I don't care whether it's one that I went out and killed in the wild or if it's one I buy in the store. I brine my turkey for 24 hours in a saltwater bath just to infuse, moisture into the meat, and the saltiness into it. So I'm doing the same thing that they're doing. It's not a big deal. This is one of those things that these internet rumors, they get way out of hand, because somebody makes a claim about something when they don't know anything about what they're talking about.
If you want to get plenty of fat in the chicken, you just do the heart attack style cooking and you
Boom.
get plenty of it.
There you go. There you go.
Yep. Rick will teach you to make a fatty chicken.
Yeah, we it's like our turkeys. We love to deep fry our turkeys, and we use lard. We don't use peanut oil. I used to use peanut oil prior to becoming enlightened, but yeah, I use lard now. Good stuff.
Attack.
Yep. I eat heart attack turkey.
That's it.
All right. Here's where am I at here? But Charlie's doing something right because he's gone from 325 to 180. So that is
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Yes. Congratulations. That is good.
The only reason why I'm doing this lion diet for 30 days, I don't know why they call it a lion diet, because I have seen on television where lions eat other animals that are not ruminant animals.
Mm-hmm.
And
remember you
but
saying that.
but going on this trip, I didn't realize that the third day, the family fixed us, and it was beef. I was like, wow, I'm going to have beef in Mexico. And it was very delicious. And I ate it. Did not know that they use seed oil cooking with it. And after I've done eat like 2 or 3 plates of just this beef, and I look and I'm like, uh-oh, I didn't know they had that there. So Mexico, they do use seed oils there.
Yeah, they do. But did you experience any effects from it? Any
Not really much effects, but I think the biggest effects I had, it's been building up for a little bit, is I took out dairy for a while, especially cheese, because I ate too much. I was eating too much, and I want to finish this weight loss journey, and so I wanted to get a jump on it. So I do best on beef, so that's what I did. I'm just going to do the poor man's lion diet, ground beef and whatever I can catch on sale, because I'm not going to be doing pampered ribeye steaks because I can't afford it.
Yeah. Well, me and Bob both, we've said numerous times that, a little bit of seed oil doesn't bother us. Now, I know people that they get one egg, one piece of meat cooked in a seed oil, and they're running to the bathroom. I've heard of that. There's right. So
That's me.
yeah, and I've heard of that. Now, it doesn't happen to me. If I go to a restaurant and they cook my steak, on a flat top with some seed oil, it doesn't seem to affect me that I can tell. And I know Bob has said the same thing about himself. So it's one of those things. It's an individual thing. For some people, it affects them more than others. Rick has been so clean for so long that things like that are going to affect him a lot more than people like us who haven't been as clean as long. But I have noticed that there are certain things that once we give them up after a time, our bodies do get used to being clean and will reject certain things. It's like, I can't eat chili anymore. Chili will not sit right with me.
And it's just like this, as I'm coming through Texas, you'll have these convenience stores called All Ups. I think they're changing the name to Say Yes or something like that, but it's All Ups. And they always have
All
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we got them all Sups and Yes Way. I've got both All Sups and Yes Way right here in my little bitty town of Hyco. Yeah.
And they always have, your fried seed oil stuff. And I remember 2 stores I went into. It was somewhere just north of Abilene, because we took a from I-20 out of Sweetwater, and we cut over to 277 to get to Lawton, Oklahoma to stay. And I remember we stopped at Seymour, Texas, and it was one of those. And I walked in there, and it was the most awful smell. I mean, it was terrible. And then I remember just a couple years ago, 3 years ago, I walked in, and it's like, boy, it smells good. Now I can't even stand it because you can smell it.
Spot on. And see, Allsup's is well known for their deep fried burritos. I mean, that's just for the hunters going hunting in the morning. You stop at Allsup's and get your cup of coffee and your deep fried bean burrito before you go out, and then you take an extra pair of socks with you to the hunt to the stand, because at some point you're gonna be using your socks, because you're gonna make a mess. So they're well known for that. But and I understand what you're saying. You get to the point, and I've told the story before, where down here we have what we call a Frito pie at the ball games and whatnot. And after I'd been carnivore for about a year, I was watching a ball game, little league game, and somebody behind me had gone to the concession stand and gotten a Frito pie, and it smelled disgusting. And I used to love Frito pie. You split open a bag of Fritos and you pour chili over it, cheese and onions, and you eat it right there out of the bag. And I used to love them things. And yeah, I was about
Sounds
to gag.
disgusting.
I mean, it was as bad as if somebody had been smoking behind me. The smell.
They do those Frito pies right up here at our, my local school. They do that at the ballpark, and they do it at the gym in their concession stand. I have seen that.
Never heard of that.
Oh yeah, I've heard it said they're a Texas thing. I don't know if that's true or not, if we invented it, but yeah, we love them down here until you go clean.
Does anybody remember the Frito Bandito?
Oh yeah. Political
yeah.
correctness killed the Frito Bandito.
As a kid, they always had those commercials. I am the Frito Bandito, and I love Fritos corn chips.
Yep.
Oh,
Very
I
nice.
remember that commercial when I was a kid. I just barely remembered it, but early 80s, I remembered that.
Yep.
Frito Bandito. It sounded like Mel Blanc that did the Bugs Bunny.
Oh, it probably was. He had an amazing talent.
I hated corn chips. Every time my mom put them in my lunch, I felt like throwing up. But you know what I did with them after school?
Fed them to the ducks.
Fed them to the ducks. So my neighbor gave me a bunch of ham and cheese sandwiches from the bakery place. They're like a little bit of ham and cheese. I took the ham and cheese out of it and ate it. And guess what I did with all the bread?
Duck food.
Duck food. I made a video of it. I took it down to the canal and fed it to the ducks.
Good deal.
We had a day 2. There was a family. I wasn't on this build, but some of the people that was on the build, this current build that we just finished up, they built this home in December 2019. And so they brought tamales, which I like the meat in the tamales. And I try to get most of it out, but I end up eating some of the corn masa, because you're going to still get some of it. But they had donuts there, and I'm like, where's the ducks at? I need to feed the ducks. I need to feed. Do we have Muscovies here? Do we have some Bandito Muscovies here in Juarez?
I tell everybody, donuts are something I do, not something I eat.
All right. I got some more starred comments I want to get to here. Bacon Runner said, my physical was this morning. My doctor tried, but said out loud that she couldn't find anything wrong with me. I told her to stop trying, showed her a video of my pull-ups and flexed a muscle. So, all right, very good.
That's sad that a doctor is trying to find something wrong with you.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Bill Cook says, would think of trying squirrel, possum, and raccoon. I don't know.
I heard possum's nasty.
I haven't had possum. I have had raccoon and squirrel. Raccoon is
kind of
extremely
greasy.
Squirrel's
Extremely
tasty.
And I had fried squirrel before at my grandpa's.
Oh, I used
good.
to love squirrel. You bet.
Squirrel, yeah, squirrel's good. Would the
3 racks.
raccoon be greasy because of would that mean it's high fat?
Yeah.
They are fat little creatures.
So
garbage.
my son's father-in-law, he was doing some barbecuing, and he had this pan on the smoker, and he smoked up this meat, and everybody was indulging in it. It was good stuff, just loving it. And my son's wife, she liked it so much that when all the food was gone, when all the carcass was picked clean, she's over there with some bread and she's sopping up the fat and the sauces, that were rendered out and eating that. And she said, man, this is the best barbecue you've ever made, Daddy. What is this? And he said, well, that's raccoon. She threw the biggest fit over that. And it's like, what are you mad about? You loved it. It was great. But it was just the thought of eating raccoon just totally blew it for her.
Well, if you eat the raccoon, can you make a Davy Crockett hat out of it?
You bet. You bet. Like I've got a hide hanging on the wall. My wife wanted me to because I would trap coon, and she wanted me to skin one out, and make a hat, a coon hat for my son or for one of my grandkids. And so I skinned it out, processed it and everything. It's a nice hide. It was a big fat coon. And I said, so who are you going to have make a hat out of it? She said, well, I thought you would do it. I said, I don't know how to make a hat out of a coon skin. So it's still just a skin hanging on the wall instead of a hat.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been just starting to throw some of these relative comments up on the screen instead of reading them out loud. But here's the one that we want to read out loud. Jerry says, have you heard about what is going on in Oregon with hunters? The citizen-led ballot initiative aims to remove existing legal exemptions within Oregon's animal abuse statutes. If passed by voters, it would effectively criminalize hunting, fishing, trapping, livestock slaughter, traditional farming, and routine pest control. And then Cranky adds, in addition to hunting, fishing, and trapping, the proposed Oregon measure would effectively ban all farming, ranching, and livestock slaughter in the state.
Ain't gonna happen.
I've not heard of this. I can't imagine something like that passing.
State legislatures, every year, you got these wacko liberals that will throw stuff at the wall just to see if it'll stick. And the conservatives do the same thing. So, we just had our primary runoff elections here in Texas, and we have these proposed amendments on the ballot that we vote for. That's the citizen initiative. And this is what we want our representatives to do in office if they get elected. And there'll be subjects that are usually near and dear to our hearts. Well, the Democrats do the same thing. They have the subjects that are near and dear to their hearts. And you'll have those that will come out with these oddball legislative thoughts. This is what we want to do. And some of them will make it to the legislature, but they generally don't even get out of committee because they're so absurd. You're not going to stop something like ranching and hunting in a whole state simply because there's too much revenue in it. My gosh, you know how much the state how much revenue they make off of hunting licenses and out-of-state tags and fishing licenses? You're not going to throw that revenue down the drain. And then the farmers, their lobbies will get that shut down. But you're talking about people's livelihoods that you're putting them out of business. You're putting them on the poor street. No, that's ridiculous. That's something that will never pass.
Yeah, it's news to me, so I haven't heard about that at all. We've had some interesting comments here. Raw, eel, partridge, and then Frank said, I tried kangaroo once. Very red, not a fatty meat. Taste was okay. Apparently it tastes like venison. And that kangaroo is actually over there in Australia is something that's common.
Yeah, I haven't had it, but I'd definitely try it.
Middle East, camel. Camel's kind of common over there.
Yeah.
So, grouse or grouse, pheasant, mourning doves, ducks, geese, woodcock, deer, rabbit, squirrel, to name a few. Rattlesnake. Grouper cheeks. It's a grouper is a fish, right?
Yeah.
Okay, grouper cheeks.
Down here, I mean, we'll catch a few grouper, but like we go down the coast, we'll catch snapper. And that's one of the things we like is the cheek meat out of the snappers. It's good stuff. Most people don't realize that there's a chunk of meat right there, on fish.
And then conch was mentioned. I never thought I've picked up conch shells on the beach. I never thought of eating.
We
what
mentioned
might
that
come
earlier.
inside. Yeah, I heard you guys talking about that earlier. Yeah. Would that be like a giant escargot?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's what Rick said earlier. Yeah, it's
Big sea snail.
Yep.
Here's a question for you, Jeff. Hope your back is feeling better with the stem cells.
Nope,
Not yet.
not yet. In fact, I got a phone call from one of the doctors, nurses, representatives, whatever they are on the stem cell therapy, and they asked me how I was doing, and I said I have not noticed anything different. Of course, you got to remember, right before I had this done, I threw my back out really bad, and I'm still recovering from that. And so there's still a lot of weakness when I go and I work out. If I'm doing a lot of work around the place, I'm wearing a back brace still. So have the stem cells done anything for me yet? Not that I can tell. And that's what I told her. But she said it's still early and it takes time. This can be, 6 months, 8 months for the stem cells to populate and really get to healing. So we'll just give it time, see what happens, and if after a year or so it doesn't do any good, they'll come back and do it again. So I do have that assurance. Hopefully I haven't, hopefully it wasn't fake medicine and I wasted my money. We'll see.
Well, then, speaking of your back, how about from a few weeks ago when you had to bail out because you couldn't breathe? How's that coming along?
Oh yeah, my pulmonary embolism. All right, yeah. Okay, so this is going to be a long one. Bear with me, folks. Okay, so one of the great things about my journey and what started me down my journey at Carnivore was that I had atrial fibrillation, paroxysmal atrial fibrillation. And so I wasn't in AFib all the time. I would have attacks, and they would be severe attacks. They would put me in, I'd have to go to the ER. Team of doctors, nurses work on me, get me back in rhythm. And they took me all the way up to the point of putting the paddles on me. I mean, I've gotten that close. And they've been able to stabilize me every time. And usually it takes 1 or 2 days, and they get me back in a rhythm. And this would happen once a year. Well, I started Carnivore, and the symptoms, the heart palpitations, everything started decreasing. And it got to the point where after a year, my cardiologist said, I see nothing wrong with you anymore. Took me off all my meds, didn't even want to see me but once a year just for a checkup. And so I've had 4 interviews now, and every one of them interviews I have stated that I have reversed or cured atrial fibrillation. I have to retract that because I had an AFib attack a couple of days ago. And it was mild, but it was enough that I had to lay down, keep my blood pressure cuff on me and check it constantly. And I had to do some breathing exercises, some meditation, and some prayer to get my heart to settle down some. But it wasn't bad enough for me to go to the ER. I was still able to get up and move around without worrying about collapsing and passing out. Because before the attacks would be so bad, if I got up, I immediately was trying to pass out because I had no blood flowing through my body, because the heart ain't pumping it. But here, the heart was still pumping enough that I was getting enough blood that I wasn't on the verge of passing out. I could breathe, even though it was shallow. I could still breathe okay. That's another thing. When the blood ain't pumping through the lungs, you ain't getting no oxygen to the rest of your body. So, you feel like you're suffocating. And so I didn't have that feeling. So, when my wife asked about taking me to the ER, I said, no, I'm fine. I'm going to wait this out if it doesn't get any worse. And it didn't get worse. And so I ended up going to bed that night. Next day, I was back in rhythm. So the question is, why all of a sudden after 3 years is my AFib back? What happened? So checked with the doctors, and they're telling me that my pulmonary embolism that I had, it's been over a month now ago, it stressed my heart. Because what happens is I had a blood clot in my legs. Blood clot traveled up through my heart and then into my lungs, both lungs. And the stress of that on the heart, plus the stress of the pain, the couldn't hardly breathe, all this kind of stuff, all that stressed my heart. And they're saying that's what brought on the atrial fibrillation. And so I'm going to take that as the gospel that's what happened to me. I don't think my AFib is back. I think something triggered AFib. And I'm not worried about it. I'm not concerned about it. But I am sorry to say that I guess it's not really something I can put behind me. It's something that will always be there in the shadows. But I still believe that what I'm doing is the best way to contain this and to handle my AFib is to continue on with my diet the way I am. It's one of those things that yeah, we think we're cured, but are we really? It's always there. It's like if we go back to eating the way we were eating, it'll definitely come back 100%.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
then we're not really cured, are we? We've got it in remission. So I'm keeping mine in remission. Now, on top of that, my oncologist has sent me in for these blood tests for after the pulmonary embolism because he was concerned. Why did you have the blood? Why did you have the pulmonary? Why did you have the blood clots? And he said one of the major factors is because I have cancer. Even though it's mild, cancer still causes blood clots. But he wanted to do some gene testing on me to see if I carry some specific genes that promote blood clots. And so I got those results back today as well. And 2 of the gene tests they did, one was for, forget the name of it, but it was for if you're just prone to blood clots, and mine proved negative. I'm not prone to blood clots. But the other one, the gene, I have the mutation for a gene that causes venous thrombosis, venous, or however you pronounce it, thrombosis. And so that does mean I will still form blood clots in my legs. I don't have a blood clots all over. I will get them in my legs. I have this mutated gene, and apparently it's very common in people of European descent, which I am 100% European descent, German and Scandinavian. And so I have this gene. Apparently my brother had it. Apparently my kids will probably have it. So it's something that they need to probably look out for and watch their diet and everything. And so I won't have another appointment with him until July, and then we'll decide a course of action of how we're going to handle this. Right now, what I'm doing, they do have me on Eliquis, blood thinners. They'll do that for at least 3 months. And I'm also, right now, I'm taking some natural things too. Yes, I do take magnesium supplementation. I appreciate that. But I take magnesium every day. And then I'm adding magnesium in my electrolytes when I'm working outside hard all day. But I'm also, Kurt turned me on to this. Thank you, Kurt. I appreciate you. He sent me a video from Dr. Berg talking about supplementing with cacao, pure natural cacao, no sugars and nothing additive to it, just cacao. And a tablespoon a day of that, mixed in some liquid of some kind. And the cacao, according to him, it opens up the veins and arteries in your body and allows better blood flow through your body, preventing clots. And so I'm going the natural route with that to help prevent further clots. So we'll see what happens with that. And I did a little checking on ChatGPT today on it, and I asked, what is the best thing I can do exercise wise for this? And they said, walk, just get out and walk. And I do cardio 3 days a week. I'm going to start walking every day because I'd just as soon not go through another blood clot if I can help it. Not like this. My oncologist said there's three things in this world, and only 3 things other than a bullet to the pons viroli. There's 3 things that'll have you dead before you hit the ground. First and foremost, a massive, severe heart attack. You're done before you hit the ground. I saw that happen in front of me to a friend of mine at work. Massive heart attack. He was dead before he hit the ground. Mm-hmm. Nobody can save him. The second one is your a stroke popping in your brain can kill you dead before you hit the ground. And the third one is a pulmonary embolism. It can kill you dead before you hit the ground. You'd be walking with your wife, holding hands, and next thing you know, you're dead before you even collapse. And so I'll do what I can to avoid that. But now, with that being said, I'm not stressed about it. I'm not worried about it. I am a faithful follower of Jesus Christ. I put all my faith in God and in my Lord Jesus. And he'll call me home when he wants to call me home, and he'll call me home the way he wants to call me home. And there's nothing I can do about it. And I'm not worried about it. You know, I'm secure in my salvation. I know I have a home, and it'll happen. It'll happen. We're all going to go sometime. You know, I would personally like to see my grandkids grow up, you know, like to see my granddaughters, get married and start their lives. But if I don't get to do that, I don't get to do it. It's all in his plan. So I'm not stressed or worried about it. We'll just do what we can. So sorry for the long talk. Appreciate the platform there, Bob. But I
No, that's okay.
I don't want everybody to think that I'm still the miraculous AFib, conqueror when I'm not.
Well, here's a couple questions though. Before your carnivore diet, what was the frequency of your AFib attacks compared to?
I would have heart flutters anywhere a dozen a week, several a day. I would go into severe AFib at least once a year. I would have minor AFib, sometimes what I call a hidden AFib that I didn't even know I was having, but my watch would tell me. I had an Apple Watch at that time, and it's the only reason I had the watch was to tell me when I was in AFib. I had an anxiety attack, what I thought was an anxiety attack, a couple of times, and it turns out those were AFib attacks. So I was having AFib problems all the time, and over a year of carnivore, they started getting less and less, and now 3 years in, I might have a PVC once in a while, which has nothing to do with AFib. It's a preventricular contraction, but those are rare. I don't get any AFib symptoms. This sucker came out of nowhere, just came right out of left field. So life is much better on carnivore, no doubt about it.
Right. Yeah. So carnivores definitely has improved it. And you made a comment about you reverse, not cure, or put in remission. That's a good word for it. It's the same thing with like the type 2 diabetics. We often say, oh, you've cured your diabetes. Well, if they went back to eating the standard American junk, it would just come right back. So, what you've done is put it in remission and you've removed your dependency for insulin, and metformin and whatnot. But, that doesn't mean you can, oh, I'm cured. Now I can go partay,
Yeah, and I've used that word wrong. I've used it wrong too many times. Because if you're cured, that means you can go back doing whatever you want. And that's not true. You're in remission.
Yeah. And even like I said, I cured my ulcerative colitis. And even my gastroenterologist, he said, I would call it cured. He goes, I would use the term remission if you took my medication and that's what put it in remission. He goes, but it's the fact that you've done it without medication, I would call it cured. But I still think that if I returned to my old habits and returned to sucking down a pot of coffee a day like I used to, I think my ulcerative colitis would return. Whatever triggered it, whatever my gut was sensitive to, it still is, but by eliminating those things, I've been able to live without the ulcerative colitis symptoms. So
yeah, same thing with my Crohn's disease. I think it's just waiting for me to go back to eating grains.
Mm-hmm.
If I go back to grains, I'd be scared to start right back up again. Because what got us there to begin with?
Right.
Why was our body more susceptible to that than other people? Well, there's something about us that we can't tolerate certain things. It destroys our systems.
Right. And you have these other individuals that they can seem to eat junk all their lives and they seem to be okay. And those
different
people I was always jealous of.
Different metabolism, different physiologies.
Yeah, I had a friend who
You
was
know?
skinny growing up, still skinny today. He just ate junk food all the time, never put on a pound. And it's like and I always joke that I could look at a chocolate cake and gain weight.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, same. But one of the classic examples of how we're all different is, and how different things affect us is the most common one would be lactose intolerance.
hmm
So many people can't handle lactose. And there's a lot of them that will still eat cheese. They will still eat pizza. They will still eat all this. And they don't understand why they're sick all the time. It's because they're lactose intolerant. Now, me, being German and Scandinavian, my heritage comes from countries that we develop a lot of dairy. Therefore, we develop the genes that allow us to process dairy. But a lot of people whose genetics don't come from those parts of the country, they don't do as well with it.
I've heard that 80% of the population is lactose intolerant. I heard that being able to drink milk is actually earthwide population wise is actually more on the rare side. So, but there's a lot of cheeses that don't have lactose in it because the sugars have been removed. So I have a relative that's they can't drink milk, they have to drink Lactaid, but they can still have cheese. As long as it's not a cheese that's got like carbohydrates in it. So if the lactose has been removed,
it's funny you talk about the skinny people, which there is that term skinny fat. They may be slim. That doesn't mean that they're healthy. But in my experience, the majority of the people that I saw having bypass surgeries, heart attacks, were skinny people, not fat people.
Huh.
I've only known a few fat people that had cardiac problems. We had one guy at work. This man was over 400 pounds, and he was clean as a whistle as far as his heart went.
Wow.
And then I know several people, including one of my brother-in-laws. One of my brother-in-laws, he was a deputy sheriff in Louisiana, and he was a black belt in karate. He taught self-defense in karate, taught it to the police. Plus, he had his own dojo for a while, and he competed. He was very athletic, very strong, and he ended up. Gosh, he was what? I think in his 40s when he had to have bypass surgery. Just absolutely amazing. And here he was, athletic and slim, but he could eat whatever he wanted. And that was the thing. You can't just eat whatever you want just because your metabolism burns it up. What was it? And correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember reading a long time ago that the man that is credited with making jogging an exercise for everybody to do to be healthy died of a heart attack while jogging.
These skinny people who eat whatever they want are alien hybrids, according to the back of the bean.
I eat whatever I want.
Well, I can tell you, like on my mom's side of the family, she is the second from the youngest. She has 13 brothers and sisters, and I think she has one brother alive and then 3 other sisters. That one's her youngest sister, unhealthy, type 2 diabetes, won't change. My mom is trying to eat clean as she can, keto, low carb, carnivore, much as she can. My uncle, he's probably was almost 400 pounds. Granted, he's in the nursing home now because by his choice, but he still has a sound mind. He's 88 years old, still has a sound mind. He just won't get up and walk. He just refused to lay in his bed or get in a wheelchair instead of getting up and walking. But of course, he worked up until he was 83, 84 up and down the tractor, but with the weight in his knees. But then he started getting on the, he started having infection and stuff like that. But he decided, I'm just going to go to the nursing home. And so that's where he goes. And then my mom has a sister that's just older than her, has early stages of dementia, but she is like skinny. She's like my grandfather. She was skinny as a rail. And of course, she drank a lot of Coca-Cola, a lot of sugar, stuff like that. And then I have an aunt, my mom's like that's just older than my sister, that her sister that has early stages of dementia, probably losing her mind as well. And she's in her 80s. My grandpa had a sound mind up until I think when my grandma died, even though they ate biscuits, they made their biscuits. They didn't have store-bought and stuff. When my grandma got sick and she died of kidney failure in 86, all of a sudden, like all the junk food, like the duck food biscuits that you buy in the store started coming in, stuff like that, all the unhealthy. And then my grandfather had a sound mind up until probably, 94, 95. And that's when he lost his mind. And, but still, I had a cousin that was left on the family farm. They bought the farm. My uncle that's 88 years old outlived him, and he dropped dead of a heart attack, and he was a lot thinner than my uncle was.
He bought the farm all right.
I was going to say that he bought the farm until he bought the farm.
Yep.
All right, Jeff, I had one more question for you.
Yeah, man.
Going back to the AFib, you said this one was light and, you just stayed home, waited it out, slept it off or whatnot. What would determine whether you decided I have to go to the ER or I'm going to wait this one out?
If I can't get up without passing out, if I can't breathe, because when there's no blood flowing through your lungs, you're not getting any oxygen. You're like a fish out of water. You're just gasping for air. And so those are my two criteria right there. Because when the blood ain't flowing, my heart was doing enough, even though my blood pressure was down around 80 over 50 something. My heart rate was jumping up anywhere from 90 to 140 something, and it was fluctuating all over the place. But it was enough that I was getting blood flowing enough to where I could breathe okay, and I could get up without passing out. And so that's why I considered it mild. I could feel the tightness on my chest. I could feel it, I feel my heart wasn't functioning properly. But those are the two things that if it had gotten to that point, I would have definitely gone.
All right. And we always have one of these a night. Sorry, but you guys do not look like the picture of health. You should have your blood work done. Okay. All right. So,
and
I'll
I
go first.
commented on that.
Yeah, I see that. Your blood work is great. Jeff's physiology is actually pretty stellar. So is Rick's, by the way. And
and what do you mean I don't look healthy? What about me doesn't look healthy?
That's a good
I am
question.
6 foot tall. I weigh 167 pounds as of this morning. I have a 34-inch waist. I'm 70 years old. I work my butt off every day on a farm, and then I still go lift weights and do cardio 3 days a week. How am I not healthy?
I'm gonna ask the same question, especially with Rick. Rick is a well-oiled machine. He's been on this for over 40 years. Hadn't been to the doctor since 1996. He is approaching almost 60 years old, and he looks like not a day over 35. And just like me, I went on a mission trip. I have a bad hip joint. I still get up and do stuff at home. I still go up and down stairs at work. Today, I felt great. I got over like 10,000 steps. It's my busy season. I had to walk around a building, to put sump pumps in. I had a water leak I found. And I'm like, I know what unhealthy was when I smoked cigarettes and I had a hatch of breath, or when I was almost 400 pounds eating the standard diet. Now I feel great.
Well,
and I'll be the first to admit, am I the poster child for, physical fitness? No, absolutely not. I'm 50 years old, but 3 years ago, I was over 60 pounds heavier. I had ulcerative colitis, periodontitis, and a host of other issues. And I've lost over 60 pounds, and I've eliminated all those issues, even to the point where on my medical records, they are considered cured. It's official. The doctor put it down as cured. Ulcerative colitis, an incurable chronic autoimmune disease, cured. And so yeah. So now, do I still have improvements that I can make? Absolutely. My journey's not over, but it's almost over because I've reached my initial goal, and now I just have added a couple more that I plan on doing a little tweak here or there. But if you would have met me 3 years ago, this comment of yours would have some merit to stand on. But as of today, your comment's pretty worthless. So,
Well, these blanket judgmental statements like this, and we've had this before. People come in and say, "Oh yeah, y'all don't look healthy," What they don't understand, and I'm trying to understand them. I'm not wanting to hate on them or anything like that. I'm trying to understand. What they don't understand is just what you said, Bob. You should have seen me 3 years ago. 3 years ago, laying in an emergency room in severe atrial fibrillation. 3 years ago, curled up in a ball on my couch for 4 hours every single morning of every single day in gut-wrenching pain due to Crohn's disease, and then spending the rest of the day going to the bathroom. Sleep apnea, 16 other different ailments that I had. You didn't see me back then. What you're seeing now is somebody who, after a lifetime of eating poorly, turned their life around, just like all of us here. Well, except for Rick, he's always been there. But, the rest of us have turned our lives around, and this is the carnivore community as a whole. We've turned our lives around, and we have improved what we were. We have become new people because of this. And so try not to judge us for what you see now, because what you see now may not look healthy to you, but it's tremendously healthy compared to what we were. And I still say I don't look unhealthy. I mean, I don't know how anybody
I'm going to take myself back to 2018, 2019, where I had high blood pressure. I had to get blood pressure medicine. I quit chewing, and I realized that I chewed way too much, put too much nicotine, caused an issue. The same year, I was still on the standard diet. I had sleep apnea, and I was probably by 2020, before I went keto, I was actually weighed 384. I was getting close to my heavy weight that I was over 20 years ago.
We are healing. And that's what this diet does for this lifestyle of eating. I hate to use the term diet. This is what this lifestyle of eating does for us. It heals us, and we are all healing. So it's not 100% about just looking healthy. Most of us have wrecked our lives, and we're not going to necessarily look healthy. Bob looks great. I think I look great. I'm 70 years old. Do I look 70? I mean, I welcome anybody on here to tell me I look 70, because I get told all the time they don't believe I'm 70 years old. And technically I'm not. I won't be 70 for another 12 days, but I'm close enough. I might as well say it. Define
we're not supposed to round up when you get up there.
Yeah.
I'm
What about
69
performance?
define what healthy looking is. And that's another thing too. Our cameras on here may not look the best. Let me go get a glamour shot, and I'll post it up here, and maybe I'll look healthy.
It's just it's like Mitch, old guy carnivore. He's 79 years old. I told Mitch, I said, you don't look like a day over 70, and not even in his 60s. I said, my dad passed away with a stroke at the age of 79. Mm-hmm. He looked like he was way older than what Mitch looked.
We'll be watching a a movie or something, there'll be some actor we haven't seen for a while, and my wife will be looking at him. She, my gosh, how old are they? And she'll look it up, you know, look up their background, and she'll be like, I can't believe it. That guy's younger than you are,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and he looks horrible. And I see that all the time. You know, the worst thing I got here is my turkey neck, you know, and I've got that because I used to be fat, and I'm not fat anymore. That's
You see what Kelly said about me. It's true. I mean, I'm what, 58? I don't look as old as I am. People
Look at your
mistake
hair.
me.
Folks, he don't dye his hair.
That's not dye. That is real hair color.
He rides a bicycle every day. You ain't gonna find anybody healthier than him.
And
No.
you know, I have never been out of breath in my life, no matter how hard I worked. You see me riding a bike. You ever see me breathing hard?
Nope.
I don't drink
videos
water.
on that all the time.
I don't drink water. I keep talking. I keep thinking. I react fast. I never have an accident. I mean, I've had a few mishaps. I had a water meter collapse. I hit a muffler out in the field. You should see some of the places.
Saw you hit a tree limb one time.
I hit a tree limb. I hit a coconut tree.
You said some dirty birds that day.
Yep. I've hit rocks. I mean, it's crazy. And I've never been injured. I only broke my arm once when I was
identify
15.
what looking healthy is. You know?
Well, that's it.
And somebody said on here, show yourself. Let's see what you consider healthy.
They never do.
No.
The only thing they can say about me is how skinny I am. They can make fun that I look like I'm anorexic or I look like I came from a concentration camp. But
Brother,
the thing is,
I got told that 3 times in one day for the first time in my life. About 6 months ago, I got called skinny 3 times in one day, and I've never been called skinny.
and then
I've always been a pretty good sized old boy. Even at my fittest, when I was playing sports, when I was in the military, I was not considered skinny. You know, I was still a pretty good sized old boy. I was just athletic.
I'm skinny. I'm 6'6", and I only weigh 195, and I have a 35-inch waist. I'm skinny.
Yeah.
I've always been skinny. But you
Yeah,
watch
my
me
wife
work.
calls me skinny all the time. I'm like,
But watch how
"I'm
the skinny guys work.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Carnivore Wayne says he's lost 120 pounds on the carnivore diet.
there you go. Congratulations.
Yeah. Now,
I've never been on a
I
prescription
don't know.
in my
I don't
life.
know.
I've never
Well,
had
there's
to
a
take
sign
a
of being
prescription.
healthy.
I've never had back trouble. I've never had any chronic aches and pains. All the things you described, the digestive problems, I don't have. I have no health issues. I don't go to the dentist for 40 years, no doctor for 30 years. They can make fun of me all they want, but I still feel good.
And that's the way we should. If you feel good, you feel fantastic, why go to the doctor? I know, like, I didn't have the understanding about AFib. My dad was diagnosed with AFib. I didn't know at the time. This was, last decade. I didn't know that, the carnivore diet. I didn't know the keto diet, Dr. Berry and all them. So I made a choice to go to the heart doctor. And of course, I always had a clean bill of health, and I always asked, how do you know when you have AFib? And he says it will be detected on a test. It will detect it. He says you don't have it, but I always had a good bill of health, and always went 2 years. Well, they closed the Missouri Heart Center. Had a disagreement. The Missouri Heart Center closed, and I just told my mom. I said, you know what? I had a letter, and I was not even a year on carnivore. I was like a little over 6 months on carnivore. I was at that time, I was 270. I got down to 270, lost 60, almost 70 pounds. And I have a letter that says that my ejection fraction was 63%, which it is in the great condition. So I'm like, you know what? I feel great. The only thing I have is a bad hip joint. I said, I'm going on how I feel. Why do I need? I'm not going to go back. unless I know something, if I start feeling short of breath or something like that, then I'm going back. But if I'm feeling good, I'm just going to continue to go on how I feel.
From my experience, just speaking from my experience, because I am an AFibber, if you have a history of AFib in your family, you are right now doing the best thing you can do to prevent that happening in you. To hold it at bay. You're doing the best thing. So just keep up the good work.
Hey, Bill, can I share the picture of your cat on the screen? Let me know in the chat. And then, all right. So, yeah, so I don't know. Go ahead.
So I was watching Dave Mack today, and they had a guy on there that used to be a nutritionist till he saw the light and learned the truth, and now he's changed his nutrition and how he teaches people. But he was telling a story that I just found fantastic. He went to a no-kill animal shelter to get a cat, and he ended up falling in love with this cat that just came to him. It was personal to him. And he just fell in love with the cat. And they said, well, the cat's separated because it has, feline leukemia or something. Is that what it is? And so it can't be around the other cats. And if you go in there and get anywhere near that cat, you have to leave. You can't be around it because it's very contagious. And he just fell in love with the cat. And they said, well, the cat's probably only got about a year and a half to live. And he's like, I don't care. My heart goes out to this thing, and this cat wants to be a part of our family. And so he took the cat in, and he had just become a carnivore himself. He put his cat on a carnivore diet, and he gave him some supplements too because of his illness. Put that cat on a carnivore diet, and he got 8 or 9 years out of that cat when it was supposed to be gone in a year and a half. Fantastic story. People, if your animal is supposed to be a carnivore, put them on a carnivore diet.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that was on Dave Mack today, so it was a good interview. It was a long one, but it was a good one.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. So this is Bill Cook. Bill Cook's cat. This would be ketosis, correct? Yep. Step away from the plants. I like the shirt too, except coffee.
Doesn't look like he's appreciating the photograph though.
Don't take my picture.
Get the camera out of my face. But I like the shirt.
My cat loves the camera.
Yeah, mine hasn't been in today. So last week mine was really, really bothering me, and then I realized it's because I had the door shut. He couldn't.
I'm
get out.
overrun with cats right now. We've got five barn cats, and one of them had kittens about 3 weeks ago, and they're finally showing themselves. There were 6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like they're going to be wild as March hares. And then yesterday, one of the other ones had kittens. We haven't seen them yet. We don't know where she's hiding them. So we're overrun with cats. Anybody want a cat? We got plenty here. All gray tabbies.
Plenty here.
I have one, and one is enough. So
I have a couple furrow cats that are running around, so I'll let them eat the mice around the house.
Yeah,
carnivores outside.
Yeah, we've got livestock, so we got feed around all the time. So we have to have barn cats to keep the mites and the rats at bay, and they have done such a fantastic job. I think they've run out of rats to kill. Now they're bringing home rabbits. There was one that was chomping on the head of one a couple of days ago. In fact, it was the one that just had the kittens yesterday. A couple of days before she'd got her a rabbit, she was eating on it, and then the dogs got sniffing around in the brush, and they brought out a half a rabbit that apparently one of the cats had put aside to eat on later. Had to give it back to the cats.
Here's a comment for Jeff. The longer you fast, if you fast, the more stem cells show up.
Okay, that's good to know.
And then,
Good to know. In fact, I felt I intermittent fast now. I basically eat one meal a day, but I have been feeling the urge to do an extended fast. So I will definitely keep that in mind. I appreciate that, Bill.
That's what I thought about doing after I get through the 30 days on this lion diet. I was going to do, go a little bit past. I have done a little bit longer, like over 30, 36, almost 48 hours. I thought about doing that right after this is over, and then adding eggs back in, or doing something with eggs or something like that. But I have been, since I've done this lion diet, I've been eating one meal a day, and I feel fine.
You know, in your video and earlier today, you mentioned you don't know where they came up with the term lion diet, and I meant to say something then. It's my understanding that it was Michaela Peterson that coined it, the lion diet.
She calls it the lion diet. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what somebody mentioned. It was
I think she was
Peterson.
the one that coined it. Now, why she coined it that is probably simply because trying to think of the most pure form of eating that she could is probably why she came up with it, and I have many of us use lions as the ultimate carnivore. I have a countdown calendar that shows how long I've been carnivore, and which is 1,119 days, and the symbol I have on it is a lion. So, but yeah, you're right. Lions eat any kind of meat, but I think she just chose the lion just because it seems to be most what we consider a pure carnivore, even though it's not about the ruminant meats, it's about the carnivore itself. But yeah, I believe she's the one that coined the term.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I never understood. So I'm like, well, assuming, the African savanna, the grasslands where they have a lot of like the wildebeest and stuff, I'm assuming that's where they got it from. But
yeah,
someone mentioned that was Michaela Peterson that came up with it.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't think she was trying to say that all they eat is ruminants. That's just the way she chose to coin it. Just like Dr. Baker's the one that coined carnivore diet. He's the one that came up with that. Because there were people doing carnivore long before he ever wrote the book. But he's the one that
they call it zero carb.
Zero carb, yeah. Amber O'Hearn, she was teaching carnivore long before Baker ever wrote the book, but she didn't name it carnivore. He did, and it stuck. So
Dustin says Elementy has maltodextrin up to 0.5 gram per packet. The only one I know that does not have it is the lemonade salt.
And that's what I don't use lemonade. I just use the plain.
There's the kid.
I do have the lemonade salt, and I do those every now and then. There's Milton.
I saw Milton's baby or somebody's baby earlier.
Yeah, that was a calico kitten.
Yeah.
There's an orange one too, and there's the black and white one. Would you, Milton? Milton seems to like them, so maybe they are his.
Jerry asks, who has 8 chitterlings? I don't know what they are.
Chitlins. I have. It's gut. It's intestine.
Okay.
It's whereas like the Hispanics will make menudo. Chitterlings is more of a southern black soul food type food, but it's made from the gut.
Okay.
It's good.
My mom told a story. They had a black gentleman that always helped out on the farm. He's also was a road grader, motor grader, and he says he always came down to the farm to help butcher hogs or help do this because he knew when his wife was fixing chitlins, he was gone because he could not stand them.
You bet. As long as they're clean good, it's good stuff. Just like menudo. As long as they're clean properly, it's good. Yeah, in fact, back home, I'm from San Antonio, and back home, one of my best friends, Marco Vidal, used to go to his house, spend the weekend all the time, and his mama was a fantastic cook. And me and Marco, we'd go out drinking, you know, even though we were underage. Back then, drinking age was 18. So if you were 16, you could pass for 18. I always did. And yeah, we'd go out drinking, and his mama was quiet, hardly ever spoke, kept an immaculate house. Don't know how she kept such an immaculate house because she was always in the kitchen cooking. You know, fresh homemade tortillas every day, you know, fantastic cook. And it was, she always knew. She never said anything about us going out and drinking, but she always knew we was drinking because we get to his house, come home, there'd be a fresh pot of menudo sitting on the stove for us. And menudo is something you eat, you know, here in Texas. If you've been out drinking, you go get your pot of menudo so you don't have a hangover the next day. You know, because it'll soak up that alcohol. Which, if you're a carnivore, you don't need to be doing that.
I quit drinking for other reasons, and that was early stages of keto. And when you see people just want to have a drunken party, I don't want to be part of that. That's because I was growing my faith, and I'm like, I'm tired of this. I don't want to be around this crap.
Yeah. I quit drinking. I'm sober, but I just lost my taste for it. The longer I was on carnivore and the stronger my faith became, the less I wanted it. Until one day I was in Louisiana for a funeral in the family, and we stopped and picked up a bottle of bourbon and took it to the hotel like we normally do. We was going to have a drink that evening, and I just took one sip of that drink, and I'm like, this doesn't even taste good anymore. And I set the cup down, and my wife says, "You're not going to drink that?" I said, "No, I don't want it." And I haven't touched a drop since. It's just the taste has left me. You know, whether that's the Holy Spirit working in my life, which I'd like to think it is, or if it's just carnivore or a combination of both. I just don't desire it anymore, and I've been sober ever since.
Grandma Nina, 25, asks, my small LDL particles are increasing. They were mid 200s a year ago, but are at 383 now. How to reverse this? High fat carnivore only for 3 years. And so I don't know. I can see why that's concerning, because they say that the small particles are the more atherogenic.
Yeah.
So it could, you mentioned you're high fat carnivore. Maybe, you know, if you're over consuming fat, you know, maybe that's, you're going to have more LDL production and possibly as a result, more of the smaller LDL production could be coming into play there. So one thing you could try is reducing, you know, go from high fat to not so high fat. I'm not saying definitely don't go low fat, you know, but, you know, maybe back off the fat a little bit. Maybe also try and replace some fats from like butters and fatty red meats with an extra meal with fatty fish instead. So that way you're getting a different type of fat. And the fatty fish isn't going to be as fatty as, like, you know, ribeyes and butter or ground beef either. That would be one of the first things I think about is, you know, backing off the fat. A lot of people, they start carnivore and they do great. And then they get into they come across these carnivores that really, really, really push the high fat. And so they start adding fat to everything. And then they stall, or then their LDL goes through the roof, and then most of us don't even get a particle count to see if they're small or large, but you have, and that's good. That's very proactive. And it might not be necessary. Now, that said, some people thrive better on high fat. I think Jeff here is a high fat carnivore.
Yes.
But other people don't. So, like, you know, some, you know, the average recommendation, you know, we say is to do a 70 to 30 ratio. 70% of your calories come from fat, 30% come from protein, and that usually works out gram per gram, 1-to-1. Some people like 80% or more fat, and so that's 2-to-1. Okay, 2 grams of fat for every gram of protein. But some people actually do better scaling it back, and they go 60-40. 60% calories from fat, 40% from protein, and that's going to be less than a gram of fat for every gram of protein. So you might have to try, playing with those numbers a little bit. And I know the downside is you probably got to do them in 3-month stints, because you go get your blood work, then you want to maybe change it up, and then give it maybe 2 months, 60 or 90 days, and go check it again and see if it's made a difference. That's just some things that I would start with.
I think that's a really good question for a carnivore doctor.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know enough about the small LDL particles versus the fluffy, buoyant ones. I've just heard one is better than the other. The only thing I know to do in a case like that is look at what is your if you got a lot of the small LDL, you might want to get a CAC score, just to get that checked out. If it's clean, I wouldn't think it's as big an issue. I would also look at your triglyceride to HDL ratios and see what your ratio is. If your ratio is below 2, may not be a problem. But I'm just saying may not. I don't know enough about the small LDL particles. It's just something that ought to be checked out with a carnivore doctor. So if you can, get a hold of Dr. Berry, Dr. Avadia, some of them, and see what they have to say about it.
Then I'd also ask, have you had your thyroid checked? That can come into play. Also, maybe your HSCRP, just check for inflammation in the body.
I'll be right back. I got to go put goats up.
Okay. And the reason I say that is because, the LDL isn't really supposed to be harmful unless there's inflammation going on. So, you can check your inflammation markers, and that could bring you some, relief. If you have no inflammation markers, then your LDL shouldn't be going after that areas of inflammation, particularly in the blood vessel walls and stuff, and coagulating there. So, and the CAC score, could give you some feedback. A carnivore doctor, sure. Yeah. Dr. Berry, I'm a member of his community. You can actually get on a Zoom call one day a week, and ask your question directly with him. Of course, that costs money. And then I'm not sure about Dr. Ovadia or whatnot, but those are some things that come to my mind that I would check first. So hope that helps. So. And that's not something, and that's the thing here, is none of us here are doctors. So, some of us that come here on the screen, like myself, have taken like a carnivore health coach class and got a certification that way, but that doesn't put us anywhere near the expertise of a doctor, though. So, you got some bling at the Monet. Let's see here. Many folks who believed they were lactose intolerant and can't drink milk from the grocer can drink A2 raw milk. That is true. A friend of mine here locally that does a carnivore diet gets raw milk from a local farm. I've had it before, and they were that way. The whole family, none of them could drink it. From the adults to the kids, none of them could drink store-bought milk. But they can drink the raw milk, and it actually doesn't matter to them if it's A1 or A2, because they know about A1 and A2. They've been getting A1 from one farm because it's cheaper than the A2 from another farm. And when they gave me some to try, because I was like, hey, I've never had raw milk, I want to try it. They gave me some, and it was A1, and I was fine. And some people handle A2 better. It's not that you can't handle A1. Certain people can't. So, but this is very true. Cranky Carnivore Cutler. There's a lot of people can drink milk if it's raw, and especially if it's A2. And the reason for that, if I recall correctly, is in the pasteurization process, the enzyme lactase that helps break down the lactose is removed, stripped from the milk, and when you have it raw, you get the lactase and the lactose. So the lactase that's required to break down the lactose comes with the milk that you're drinking. So I believe that's the reason for it. And then Bill Cook says pretzels here, pizzas there, coffee creamer. I know what this was about. Yeah. So that's true. Yeah. You know, Papa Carnivore admitted to having pretzels like, I don't know, 3 months ago now. I admitted to having a slice of pizza on Friday. But that's where I'm at in my carnivore journey. So like, you know, I'm carnivore 98% of the time. And I openly admit that occasionally I will eat a plant. However, I also usually say that I've made a personal vow never to eat grains or refined sugar ever again. And the slice of pizza did break that vow because it did contain grain. But I have no shame in every once in a while. We're talking like once every week or two. If I had a berry or if I had an apple or something like that, it's a non-issue. So, or if we go out to eat, you know, I'll just revert to keto for that meal. But when I'm here at home, I'm carnivore all the time. So, in fact, you guys got to watch me eat 2 McDonald's quarter-pound patties earlier. My wife brought them to me. That was my dinner tonight. Let's see here. Latro Geniewile says linoleic acid requires 6.3 years to clear down to a 5% level if you stop. So that is partially true. And it kind of depends on the tissue. So the linoleic acid circulating in your blood will get removed fairly fast. It gets stored in your adipose tissue though, and that's where it takes the longest time to get eradicated, break down, or whatever. So it's your adipose tissue. That's where it can stick around for up to 6 years or so. Now, there's some things that can affect that though. If you exercise and lose weight and dissolve that adipose tissue, then it re-enters your bloodstream and then it can get excreted. So, but of course, we never lose all of our fat cells. But you know, if you're really huge and you've been eating seed oils all your life, you know, you might think that you've got this huge tank of seed oils and it's going to take 6 years to get rid of it. That's not necessarily true. If you drop 50 pounds or more, you actually dropped a ton of that stored linoleic acid. And but the fat cells that still stick around, they're still going to have some and could be up to 6 years. So, and they might not be doing anything in there anyway. So true. Is it that big of an issue? You know, like that's not the case with your skin cells. It's not the case with your blood cells, you know, but it is true when it comes to your fat cells. So, you know, some people say that like, you know, the reason you're still getting sunburn is because the linoleic acid in your skin, you know, it's in your fat. It's not, you know, it's going to be in your fat that long, not in your skin. That's why you do carnivore for a short while and all of a sudden you don't burn anymore, or you don't burn nearly as bad or as fast anymore, or for as long, you don't peel. It's because the linoleic acid that was had been in your skin is some of the first to go away. But the linoleic acid in your fat cells, that's the stubborn stuff that takes up to 6 years to go away. But if you lose the weight, you're actually getting rid of it. So, all righty. That's all my starred comments. Let me go back to the regular chat. Let's see here. We were there. That's where we were. We were at the LDL particles question. And I didn't see this. This is what this is in response to. But Carnivore Wayne's mentioning that your red blood cells live longer in carnivore. And that might be why an A1C might tick up a little bit. And it's because your your red blood cells live longer when typically they average 3 months. And so they have had more time to glycate if they're living, say, 3.5 months, 4 months. And it's going to give you a false reading of the A1C ticking up, which is also why there's that false impression. You've probably heard, especially like vegans love to throw this around. And they say that like eating meat makes you diabetic. It doesn't. But where's that come from? It's because people that did a carnivore diet saw their A1C tick up a bit, and they thought, "Oh my gosh, my A1C is going up when it should be going down." There could be reasons for that. So, and this one here, that the red blood cells live longer, is the most likely candidate if yours goes up.
Yes, that is a true statement right there.
All right, I'm gonna kick off here. I'm ready to go to bed.
All right, Kelly, thanks for joining us. Yeah, we're technically kind of at the end of the line here. We're scheduled till 10:30. It's almost time.
So,
all right,
y'all have a good night.
You have a good night too, Kelly.
Good night, Kelly. Good seeing you again.
Good to see you all.
Take care. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll go back to this view. Okay. I notice a lot of people who is at the beach are lean and very muscular. Well, in old 60s photos, that's definitely true. So K2 to help calcium go the right places versus the wrong places. That's true. Let's see here. In my place, everyone is obsessed with the beach. Even the foreign are living on the beach now. Search up Ciargao. A lot of foreign people going there and sometimes living in the place. Okay, I'll look it up. I've never heard of it. Ciargao Island, Philippines. Right? Oh, pictures look good.
That's Philippines is a popular place for American expats to go live because they can live there cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some go to Mexico, some go to where is it? Saladino lives.
Costa Rica.
You know, because these are all cheaper places. You know, we can retire and live like kings in them places compared to staying here in the States.
Oh, that looks pretty neat. Yeah, okay. I can see that then. You're living at a tourist destination then. It's kind of funny because when I go on vacation, I want to give you one example. We went to Myrtle Beach years ago, and we decided to attend a congregation in Myrtle Beach. And I was talking to the people there, and I was like, I made the comment like, man, I think if I moved down here, then I'd end up losing my job because I'd always want to be calling off and go to the beach all the time. And they were like, several of the people there were like, we haven't been to the beach in years. And it's literally like 2 streets away from the ocean. And I'm like, for years, it's right over there. And they're like, yeah, well, you know, when you live down here, you just kind of, you know, you got to go to work, you go about life, you don't even think about it.
No, I live. When I got out of the Army, I went out to California and went out there to go to school and to work. And I was out there 2 years, and I lived 2 miles. I lived in Huntington Beach. And I lived just 2 miles from the beach. I could walk to it if I wanted to. And I think I went there once in 2 years. Now I'd go down to Balboa, down to Balboa Pier, which is you know on the beach, but not there in Huntington Beach. It's in Balboa. I go down there and go fishing, but as far as just going to the beach to enjoy the beach, I went one time in 2 years. Yeah, when it's available.
Nina says, thanks for the suggestions. Okay, yeah, hope they help. You know, we'd like, you know, some feedback. I know it might take some time, you know, to put this into practice and get some results, but we wouldn't mind hearing back later down the road and see how you're doing. Tried some King Oscar sardines with black pepper. Delicious. Can't find them again. I wouldn't know. Sardines are just sardines. I wouldn't even know what the different varieties are.
No,
My
Ketogenic
triglycerides.
Woman does a lot of videos on trying the different brands of sardines. If anybody was ever wanting to get an idea, somebody else's opinion, she's definitely got her opinions on them. I'm just not a sardine eater myself.
Grandma Nina says her trig to HDL ratio is less than 1. That's stellar.
So is mine. Mine's 0.95, and yeah, that's stellar. I'd be more than happy with that, no doubt. I've never had my particle sizes checked, so I have no idea what mine are. I just look at my HDL to triglyceride ratio, and that's all I focus on.
And she takes thyroid meds, so there could be some connection there.
Yeah.
Although you said they were down at 200 just last year, and now they're up to 383. How often do you test? So like I keep a record of my blood labs. I have chronic kidney disease, which does affect my lipids. So chronic kidney disease results in dyslipidemia. My trig to HDL ratio is scary. I should be dead. But I have to live with it. I know why it happens, and there's nothing I can do. I'm doing the best I can do as a carnivore, I believe. But where was I going with this? Now I'm getting tired. I can tell it's getting close to 10:30. I keep a record of like all my blood labs back to like 2019. Every time I have an Excel spreadsheet, the date across the top, the names of the labs down the left, and and then I always fill them in so I can see what my trends are over the years. So just something that you might want to do if you get your labs and they get sent to like if you have a LabCorp account, you can probably go back and look at all your old labs and still dig that data up. But it's pretty fun because I'm kind of a stat nerd. So last CAC score was 50, not the end of the world. So yeah, and that alone doesn't really tell you anything. You just get another one a year or two from now and just note the change, and also be aware that it is supposed to trickle up. You just want it to do it slowly. So, and I don't say it's supposed to trickle up. I'm saying it commonly does. But you don't want it. You want 50, and then some small number next time. What you don't want to see is like 50 and then some massive number. Let's see here. All right. You're welcome. This is true too. You can ask Dr. Barry questions on his Monday evening live stream on YouTube. It helps to give a super chat, but it's not required. So yeah, if you get in early and fire off your question, you'll have a better chance at it once thousands of people tune into that. And then yeah, it's probably not going to get noticed unless it's a super chat, because the super chats get pinned at the top for a period of time. So, but yeah, that can be done. So, lifestyle is against the grain. It is true.
I like that.
Yep. Against the grain. And that's Kurt's.
That needs to be a t-shirt.
That's Kurt's new handle too. He came in here as against the grain.
Yeah.
I'm doing a sardine mackerel feast or fast. Probably fast, as long as I can tolerate it. And when the time comes, my first meal will be air fried chicken leg quarters. Yeah, that's so you're fast. You're doing sardine and mackerel for now, until you can't. Yeah, the seed oil. You were right. I'm just wanted to add a little nuance there. So. My father is making coconut milk fish with shrimp soup right now. It actually sounds really tasty. I'm not a fan of coconut, but I've had coconut in a soup or a dish, like the liquid. Like I don't like eating the coconut flesh. but I've had the coconut liquid and it's pretty good. Oh, wow. Your body can make 2.4 million red blood cells every second. That's amazing. The human body is amazing.
He changes that count in the next post.
Yeah, an average of 20 to 30 billion in your body. You have an average of 20 to 30 billion in your body. 2.4 million every second. And 20 to 30 billion, I guess, at any given time. I see a lot of obese and morbidly obese people in the news reports of teen takeovers on beaches. As in obese teens?
I would assume.
Oh, did I say billion? Make that trillion. Okay, 20, 30 trillion. Yeah, that math works better when you talk about how many are made. So, and the process uses 20 to 30 grams of glucose from your liver per day.
Your liver makes all the glucose you need for the proper function of your body and your brain. You don't need any exogenous sugars or carbs for glucose.
I heard this.
4 teaspoons of glucose in your system at any one time, all made by your liver without anything else coming in from the outside.
I heard something the other day, and I thought it made an incredible amount of sense. And that is, so you're talking about you should have your body has 4 grams or 4 teaspoons or something like that. 4 grams.
4 teaspoons at any one time, yeah,
of glucose at any one time in your bloodstream, and that's what it wants.
Or
that's
1 teaspoon. Bill Cook just corrected me: 4 grams or 1 teaspoon.
Okay,
I stand corrected.
Okay, 4 grams or 1 teaspoon. That's what your body wants. That's his happy place. Mm-hmm. And then if you consume a ton of carbohydrates, that gets turned into sugar almost as soon as it hits your tongue. Your blood sugars skyrocket. But then your body has a system in place to quickly bring that down. It releases that insulin, channels that glucose into the cells to be used as energy to get it out of the bloodstream where it's bad. Okay. So the body has a built-in mechanism to deal with an onslaught of blood sugar. But the body has no such mechanism for cholesterol. So what's that tell you? Is cholesterol bad or dangerous? You would think that if it was, after, we would either have been created to quickly get that cholesterol down, or if you believe in the evolution side of things, after millions or billions of years, the human body would have developed a means of getting that cholesterol down right now. You just ate a fatty ribeye and your cholesterol's going up, 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 up. We got to release a hormone or something and bring that way down because it's dangerous. But the body doesn't do that because the body doesn't see it as dangerous. But body sees sugar as dangerous. When your blood glucose spikes, the body's like, we got to get this down now.
Invasive species right there.
Yep. So think about that.
Yeah, your cholesterol is a healing hormone. It's a delivery. Well, your cholesterol is a delivery truck delivering healing fats to certain parts of your body. It's essential for your cells, for your muscles, for your tendons, for your brain. It's essential for your life. Why do we want to keep restricting it? Is ridiculous. It's absurd.
Sandy Blythe says, I used to be a beach bum until I got a malignant melanoma on my upper arm. Took a big chunk of meat out. I'm done now. Yeah, so, tanning, spending too much time in the sun, especially during the heat of the day with no protection. I mean, sun's good for us, yes, but sun can also be harmful. So, you got to be smart about it too. So you don't want to fear the sun, but you also don't want to go out there imagining that you're invincible to it. So,
Yeah, see, I believe since becoming carnivore, and I've always kind of been the natural type, but especially since becoming carnivore and eating a species specific diet, a proper diet, of course, how I burn and everything is totally changed. And I've said before, I'm as white as they get. I'm a glow in the dark white boy, and yet I'm not burning like I used to burn. I used to be a burn and peel kind of guy, and I would always stay red. Now I'll get a little red, and I just turn into a tan. I get dark. And my kids have even noticed that my arms are brown now. They don't just get red and stay red. And I don't have a skin allergy. I used to have an allergy to the sun, and I would break out in these bumps on my ears and on my nose and whatnot from getting too much sun. And so in 3 years now, since I've been carnivore, I haven't worn sunblock. I used to have to wear sunblock. If I was going to town when I lived in Weatherford, if I was going to town, which is 7 miles away, and coming back is 14 miles round trip, I'm going to be gone, 20, 30 minutes or so. I'd have to put sunblock on my ears and on my nose, otherwise I'd burn. And especially at work, if I was riding my bike home from work, it's a 45-minute ride, and I've got to, I'd have to put sunblock on. I haven't worn sunblock in 3 years. I don't need it anymore. And if the sun hits my white skin, yeah, I'll burn. But it will quickly turn into a tan. And like right now, I've been out in the sun. I'm out in the sun every day. My arms, you can see how dark they are, and I'm looking at maybe I don't intend to use sunblock. I don't feel like I need it. My skin now handles the sun, and it'll be interesting to see if in my advanced age, if I develop any melanoma from my sun exposure when I'm not taking any precautions against it. I don't take any.
What about me?
Yeah. Well, the pure carnivore right there.
I don't use sunblock. I don't wear sunglasses, and you've seen me ride the bike for more than an hour.
Yeah. And see, I used to be day blind. I couldn't go outside. When I go outside, there's two things I grab going out the door. One is my hat, because I feel naked without a hat on outside. And that's just a Southern thing. And the other one would be my sunglasses. I had to have a prescription in the Army to wear sunglasses while in uniform because I couldn't see in the daylight. I had great night vision. I always got picked for nighttime patrol, but I could not see very well in the daytime. Even cloudy days, I had to wear sunglasses. And it was about 6 months to a year into carnivore where I was walking from the house to the barn one day, and I noticed I'd forgot my sunglasses. And I'm looking around, I'm going, well, ain't this some? I can see. And I quit. I haven't worn sunglasses in 2.5 years. Except now I do wear them when I ride my motorcycle simply because these glasses are too fine. They don't have a frame. They're what they call drill mounts. They're drilled directly into the lens, and they can't handle the wind. They'll just press right up against my eyeballs. So I have to wear my heavy frame sunglasses when I ride my motorcycle. But that's the only time I wear them. And that's just because I don't like bugs to the eyes. They hurt, at 80 miles an hour.
What about your helmet?
Pardon?
Doesn't the helmet protect you?
Yeah, the helmet protects me. I've got a visor on it, but in the summertime, or not a full face. I've got a full face, or modular is what they call it. Anyways, I keep the lens flipped up because I don't. It gets too hot in the Texas heat.
Sandy says that she wasn't carnivore when she had skin cancer. So now, as far as burning goes, I find that all I have to do is protect my head. So my scalp will still cook and burn and peel. But everything else I've managed to be able to leave uncovered, and I haven't had a sunburn on my shoulders or back in years now. But my scalp will get it. So I still gotta protect my head when I'm outside.
Yeah, I definitely believe that when it comes to melanoma, that carnivore will make a difference. Because it changes our skin. It changes how our skin handles the sun. It likes the sun now. The sun is natural. It's always been natural. We didn't have cases of melanoma in the past. Back when people ate more pure food, real food. None of this stuff started cropping up. Majority of this stuff didn't start cropping up until we started introducing seed oils and heavy vegetarian and grain foods to our systems. And that's exactly right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anything you put on your skin can get in your blood. Yeah, your skin will absorb it.
Yeah, that's how all the transdermal patches work.
Right. Or you can if you take testosterone replacement therapy, that comes as a cream you can rub on your arm.
Yep.
Icy hot, if your muscles ache, you rub this cream on your arm, gets down in your muscles, so yeah, everything gets absorbed. So that is absolutely true. Carnivore Cutler says the triglyceride to HDL ratio is widely considered the more important and predictive marker for metabolic health and cardiovascular risk versus small dense LDL particles.
I agree.
And he also says, according to Dr. Philip Avadia, 50 is excellent for a CAC score. And yeah, I would agree with that too. So that was for Grandma Nina there. So, and we were talking about fasting or feasting. It was not a typo. I only say fast for what I don't eat. To only eat one food is a feast to me. So he's feasting on sardines and mackerel right now.
And I agree with that totally. I've never understood, never cared for the egg fast, the sardine fast, the whatever fast. Fasting is not eating. So to say that you're eating something and calling it a fast, it's not a fast. I know semantics. I don't, it's just being picky over words.
Yeah.
But no,
both you and Cutler are grammatically correct.
I like his style. I like him saying it's a feast. You're feasting on this. That makes more sense.
I like that. They say, that when you're intermittent fasting, don't think of you have a 16-hour fasting window. You have an 8-hour feasting window. Think of it in positive terms, not in negative terms.
And I don't even have that. I mean, my window is probably a lot closer to, as far as a feasting window, 2 to 4 hours. I don't go by the 8-hour rule. I just go by when I'm hungry. And if I eat something, I'm not going to be hungry for 8 hours. I'm not going to be hungry for 20 hours.
All right. And Bill Cook says your muscles can operate on ketones if needed. Your muscles may reject glucose to save it for your brain and blood. That's very interesting too. So that's something that makes sense. It's a thought I've never thought of, but it makes sense. All right. Oh, a couple of random comments. We're going to wrap this up here shortly, by the way. Zinc oxide as sunscreen is not as harmful. Don't put anything on your skin that you can't taste or eat.
I can't argue with that.
I wear sunglasses when I drive in Tucson, Arizona, because reflections of the sun from chrome mirrors and some tinted windows can be blinding.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Yeah, these things are transition lenses. So when bright lights hit them, they turn dark automatically. So,
that ain't, just because I can see in daylight now, it doesn't mean I don't turn the visor down once in a while, when the sun gets on the horizon and I'm driving straight into it. Yeah, there's times when it can still blind me. But I'm just amazed that I can see in daylight now.
Beef tallow sinks into the skin and does not stay greasy. That's what I need to do is So I got, when my legs were itching over winter, which I thought was a high phosphorus issue because of my kidneys. Now I just think it was dry air. I had bought this, I don't even know what it was called. But anyway, it's a petroleum jelly like Vaseline, but it's got a brand name, a Vino or something like that. Aquaphor. That's what it was.
I've got some of that.
I bought some Aquaphor and I would rub it on my calves when they were itching because I'm scratching them and I've lost like the hair on the bottoms of my legs because I was scratching so bad. And so I bought some Aquaphor, put on there and try and calm it down, which it did work. But then like, it stayed greasy. Like, you go to bed and you're like, get under the covers and you're like, got that greasy stuff on your legs still. So before you went to bed, you had to wash it off. Tallow might be something that would be better next time. So Nina says, I agree with the CAC 50 and the trig ratio is good. That is true. Jamette's also watching Grandma's Crochet Corner. I'll pop over there and say hi, probably here in a little bit. And then let's see here. I think that's it. All right. So yeah, that's it. So I'm done. Anything else we want to talk about?
No, we covered a lot tonight.
You're still awake.
Oh, I'm still awake. I just got the bedroom ready. Milton's already on the bed.
Okay. All
I
right.
had to
Well,
brush
you were
my teeth.
you were dozing there for a while.
Well, you know what it is late at night. My time is a morning time. If you see me in the morning, I start going. I'll talk for 5-6 hours on my live stream.
Mm-hmm.
But at nighttime, it's time to wind down because at 10:30 to 11, I'm out.
So, and I'm getting there too. I just had a yawn. I couldn't stop from being on camera right there.
See, they tell us.
Pardon me.
I know people that say they can't sleep. I don't have that problem. Once
No.
I turn that light off, I'm out.
Yeah, I go to sleep. I don't know if it's just carnivore or just the fact that I'm retired, but and I don't think about things like I used to. But I have no trouble going to sleep anymore.
I got a call for work tomorrow. That's why I was on the phone. So, but you never know. Sometimes you get a late call.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Somebody's got a plumbing problem.
I sleep. I can go to sleep just fine, but I just wake up in the middle of the night. And if I don't wake up in the middle of the night, the dog will wake me up in the middle of the night to let her out. So
Yeah,
I miss the days. I miss sleeping 8 hours straight. No, I
I
sleep.
wake
in
up
intervals
anywhere
now.
from 1 to 3 times a night,
Mhm.
to go to the bathroom because my prostate.
I wake up once to take a leak, and that's it. I go right back to sleep. I don't even
Yeah.
remember doing it. All I know is that there's something in the picture when I wake up in the morning.
Oh, so you don't travel far to do that?
No, I'm not going to go down that hallway with all that engine blocks and stuff in there. It's dangerous.
There's a busted toe in the middle of the night for you.
Oh, I've stumbled on stuff before, and I never broke my toe. That's the funny thing. I stumbled on a compressor one time. It knocked me to the floor. I thought I broke my toe. I didn't. My bones are quite strong. Yep, some of the vegans were saying, oh, if you eat the carnivore diet, your bones will get brittle. No, because think about it. It ain't the calcium that makes your bones tough. It's the protein. And if you're on the carnivore diet, what are you eating? Lots of collagen and protein.
Mm-hmm.
For all the accidents I've had in my lifetime, I have never actually broken a bone. I dislocated and fractured a hip, but I've never actually broken a bone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I started my carnivore diet the day I broke my toe, my ankle. I'm
Your
sorry,
ankle?
I broke my
Yeah.
ankle. Yeah, I broke my ankle. So I got 6 screws and a metal plate in my ankle, and if you run your fingers down the side of the leg, you can feel the screws.
Ain't that weird?
It doesn't bother me anymore. As if
Oh,
I
wait.
tie my shoe too tight, it'll hurt. So I got to make sure I don't tie my shoes too tight.
I still find it creepy. I had to have this shoulder partially rebuilt, and they took a bunch of bone out, and they had to reattach the rotator cuff back to the bone,
Mhm.
and so it's all held together with screws. And there's one right there. I can find the screws
Mhm.
where they put them in at. It just first time I felt one, it just kind of freaked me out. It was weird, you know.
That's
That-
another thing. I've never had surgery.
Lucky you, I've had over 12 of them.
I'm really an oddball in this community.
Yeah, you are. You are. Well, you know, you're the only one that stayed healthy all your life.
Looks like it. I thought
Yeah.
I was going to be dead by my 50s
You
of
know,
a heart attack.
I've always been accident prone. I have injuries. I get hurt all the time.
Not me.
Daddy always said I was an accident going someplace to happen, and truer words were never spoke. In fact, he even said he didn't think I was going to make it to 30. You know, which by the time I made it 30, he was already gone, so I didn't get to prove him wrong. But
I've
yeah,
avoided so many disasters in my life. I got a quick reaction time.
yeah, I've had 2 hip surgeries. I've had 3 shoulder surgeries. I've had back surgery. I've had 3 surgeries on my hands. And then I've had just, you know, appendix, appendectomy and a gallbladder removed.
Wow.
So I've had my share. I'm tired of them.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, cardiac ablation had that. That's another surgery.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm fed up with getting cut on.
Mm.
And
I've had stitches in my head
Hopefully-
twice.
I tried counting up the stitches I've had in my lifetime from injury, and it just the injuries. You can't see it, you know, on here probably, but I tore my throat open one time, falling on a piece of sucker rod that was holding up a tree, and I ripped my throat open. I've impaled a hand on a T-post.
Wow.
If you ever, T-posts ain't sharp either. They're dull as all get out. I was crossing a fence, and the fence stepper gave way, and I felt my hand was on top of the T-post. My whole upper body fell on my hand, and that protected me from the T-post going through my gut. And then when I tried to pry myself off of there using a strand of barbed wire, it gave way, and I fell on that hand again. When I finally got myself extracted off of the barbed wire, I went to step away, and the hand wouldn't come with me. It was stuck to the T-post, and it's because I had impaled the hand on it. Yeah, I've driven a cleaning rod through my hand. I've filleted my arms, hanging sheet metal. I've had so many stinking stitches, it's ridiculous. Like I said, I just accident going someplace to happen because I do things without thinking about it. When I had carpal tunnel, they were testing me for carpal tunnel. The gal was hooking up all the electrodes to me. And she's looking at my left hand, and she's turning it over, and she's looking at it, all the scars on it. And she says, "My gosh, what have you done to this poor hand?" And I said, "Well, ma'am, you got to understand, I'm a mechanic. I'm an aircraft mechanic. And I'm holding the tool in my right hand. I'm holding the part in my left hand. If the right hand slips, the left hand gets it. I mean, I've drilled this finger right here. I severed this finger almost completely with a 9/32 K drill. If you've ever seen a K drill, it's that big around, the size of your little finger. And I punched it right through that finger. And they had used microsurgery and everything to put it back together again. And then had a 358 reamer shatter on me one time, and it bored into my hand right below where I severed the finger to begin with. So, yeah, I've been hurt a lot of times.
I do all kinds of mechanical work and I never even get a scratch.
Yeah, I don't know why I do it. I don't think. I just do.
Well, I pulled the engine out of my truck. I rebuilt it. I do welding and cutting
See,
and demolition.
I'd probably smash a finger doing that, you know, and I've done it before.
Not even a scratch.
Yeah.
Thing is that I take my time when I work. I don't push myself.
Yeah. Like I said, I think a lot of it, and there's times I'll be doing something and I'll go, if this slips, it's going to hurt. And sure enough, it'll slip and I'll get it.
Fun. Yeah, I've had a lot of stitches, one broken bone. And before I started carnivore, I thought I had broke my toe. And it went on for like 6 weeks. And I finally was like, I got to get this thing x-rayed. And the x-ray came back normal. So now in hindsight, I think it was a bout of gout. I don't think it was actually a broken toe now. So, but
That's
since starting
another thing.
carnivore, I've never had gout.
had gout.
Yeah.
And I got friends that had gout and gallbladder problems and kidney stones and everything. I can give you a list. And I don't get any of it. And they're telling me,
all from the way we ate, every bit of it.
and they're saying, Rick, you're going to die of a heart attack. I said, yeah, but I'm going to avoid all the other problems you got, aren't I?
Very good. All right, I'm tired. I'm ready to call it.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Rick. Oh, let's see here. Let's see if I can remember everybody. So we had Jeff, we had Rick,
Kelly,
we did have Thomas, and we did have Papa Carnivore,
Pretzel Pete.
and we had Kelly,
Mm-hmm.
and we had Kurt.
Yep.
Am I missing anybody?
I don't think so.
I think because I know that's 6. We were up to 6 at one time.
Mm-hmm. There's still 3 here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I always try and remember and thank everybody for joining. So hopefully I got everybody. Alrighty. And so, yeah, thanks for sticking around to the end, Rick. Glad to have you. Glad to have you here, Jeff, and everybody in the chat. Lots to talk about tonight. Thanks for contributing, telling me all about the weird and unusual creatures you've put in your mouth, either before or since you've started a carnivore diet.
Whack.
It just goes to show that, there is variety to be had out there.
Yeah, there is.
There's plenty
Carnivore
of
is
variety.
never boring. Never boring.
Yep. So
Duck food is boring.
maybe you've gotten some ideas. Maybe you want to brave something you haven't tried before. So anyway, thank you for your contributions. Those of you that asked questions, I hope we were helpful. And we look forward to seeing you next Monday. So between now and then, feel free to visit us over on carnivoretalk.com. And outside of that, know that we love you all and have a good night. Take care.
Good night, y'all.
Night.